start of the 24-25 season is upon us, and Avigaven Ice Arena plays host to Central Michigan and Ferris State for this annual season opener. It's Central Michigan against the Ferris State Bulldogs live here on CCHN. Hi, everybody. I'm Devin Sarah. No, you're not seeing double. I'm playing pinch hitter tonight for my partner, Reagan Cleaves. Parker Morrison is with me, and Parker, unexpectedly, I'm back here. Wasn't planned, but Reagan is back at home recovering. We hope to have him back on the broadcast next week when Central takes on Grand Valley State. Okay, Parker, 24-25 season, 12th season of play for Central Michigan. This team this year looks like the same thing we've seen the last couple of years. Not too many departures, not too many additions, though. Only 4 to count to this team, but they got a lot of experience back with their new captain, Owen Campbell, and those 3 alternate captains.
Well, as you mentioned, we've got a lot of new captaincy this year. 2 captains, 3 alternates this year. The captain's Chris Martin yet again, but a new one coming in, Owen Campbell. We'll have to see how he ends up leading the team this year. As I mentioned, 3 assistants, Josh Dilgren, Sam Camara, and Connor Morgan, all wearing the A today. What are you expecting to see out of them, Dev?
Well, I think it is interesting that they have all 3 new alternate captains. As noted in that, Nathan Bottles is no longer an alternate captain. You step in Josh Dilgren, a guy who transferred from Purdue Northwest, has experience at the Division I level. And then, of course, Connor Morgan, who's just a junkyard dog, right? And pretty fitting as he's played pretty well in this series in the past. And, you have to slot in, of course, Christopher Martin, that captaincy, 7th season. We'll get to him and more of those stories coming up. But meanwhile, in this pregame show, we'll talk a little bit about the new additions to the coaching staff. Thomas Rofe, the alternate goaltender for Central for a long, long time, played 4 years of his collegiate career along Lawrence Tech in Central Michigan, is the all-time winningest goaltender in CMU D3 hockey history. He joins the bench as Charlie Hayes and Rofe do not see themselves in this lineup. So, Parker, you see Thomas Rofe come in to coach. It's a very interesting market. They have a new goaltending coach there, especially with Caleb Willery, a sophomore who's had a lot of development time.
Well, you look at the guy that's sitting on that bench, and he played in the 21-22 season. Most notably was his best year here at Central. And the biggest thing is we've got a lot of young goaltenders here on this team. And when you bring in a guy that's very notable at CMU, you're going to see a lot of that leadership, that mentorship take the role when he comes that goaltending coach and the assistant coach here today. So you're going to see a lot of that mentorship, build those goalies up. And the best thing to do in a hockey team, whether it's EACHA, NCAA, or you're in the show, is to build your team around a good goaltender. And I think that's what CMU and Brendan Martin is trying to do here.
All right, there you have it. Let's look at our coaching changes this year. Looking back on last season, Central 11-13, 2-1 on the year. Had a good final 5 games at home last year. Unbeaten in the final 5 games at home. Bowed out to Michigan in the playoff. And for this group, we talked about some of the changes in that lineup. They look like a team that's very similar to last year.
Well, as you mentioned, we unfortunately did lose to Michigan in the playoffs, but most notably, we did beat them on our last game at home at senior night. And I think a lot of the guys that are returning are still going to be trying to ride that momentum, even though the senior night ended up having a couple of them come back. We'll see them on the ice tonight. But when you ride that high off of last season, I think the playoffs are out of the guys' heads tonight, and they're going to be working for a new season and looking to have a good one this year.
Makes sense. On the other side of things, Ferris State has themselves a new head coach in Nolan Smith. First year behind the bench for them. As many as 8 new additions to this team. They only departed 3 seniors last year, so they have a full roster lineup. Remember, they're playing in a stout MCHC West division that saw Hope College run the table and go back-to-back for Vesna Cups. That's going to be a tough division for Ferris this year, but what do you see in that lineup?
Well, Nolan Smith, as you mentioned, coming in to Ferris State during his first year. The biggest thing that I see with him is that he was a founder of Aquinas' hockey team, and you see a lot of that leadership. And that's going to be very notable for these young guys on the Ferris State team. You look at a lot of the rosters, and it's freshman, sophomore, very little juniors, very little seniors. You see a little upperclassmen in there, but not a lot. So with Nolan Smith having that mentorship, starting an entire hockey team by himself, working that way up, and making a pretty notable hockey team for himself over at Aquinas, switching him over to Ferris State, he's going to be a great leader here. And I think they're going to have a pretty good season.
That is fun. They're led by Brendan Karn, their captain. We'll talk about those teams more when we come back. But first, we have a special sit-down. Michael Rosenkrantz sat down with third-year head coach Brendan Martin to preview the season and talk about some of those questions that we were mentioning in the pregame. Don't go anywhere. This is CMU and Ferris State live on CCHN.
Welcome on back for the Optimex Coaches Show. Michael Rosencrans here with Central Michigan head coach Brennan Martin. Coach, simply put, you guys went 11-3-2-1 last year, but how was the offseason?
The offseason was good. Made some moves, bringing in the right pieces, returned a lot of our better players to our top guys that have a ton of experience. And so it was a good offseason, to say the least. Got some rest myself, was able to go around to a couple coaches conferences and just become better on my own. So, overall, really good off season. And then kind of moving into this year, where it's been a good couple weeks of practice. So, everything's been going well.
Central Michigan ended the season on a really high note, capping off a 5-game home winning streak here at Martin Ice Arena. What do you think the key was to that last season's success?
Well, I think last year the motto was really like playing our game and making sure that we stay with the systems that we had brought up. And it took a while for sure. I think we all saw that for them to get going. But once they did, they put a really good product of hockey on the ice. And unfortunately, it was just a little bit too late in the season. We needed that spark a little bit earlier. But nonetheless, to finish on a high note, it's good for the seniors that were leaving the program, and then good for these younger guys that are back this year too. So.
There's 4 new players for this team in Maddox, Grimes, Gleisner, and Kuhn. What do you see for each of those 4 guys, and what can they contribute to this team? Yeah,
well, I definitely see that they can come in and fit in our puzzle right away. Just watching them at the prospect skates over the summer, definitely guys that we wanted right off the bat, knowing that they could come in and help this team out. So it's been awesome watching them come over. They all have different stories. Gleisner, for example, this is his 3rd team now in 3 or 4 years. So it's good to get him some stability, and then our young guys like Jalen Maddox and Nick coming in. They're coming into an experienced team. They've fit in very well. They're competing right off the bat as well. So they're going to be awesome pieces for us, and they're just freshmen. So.
Speaking of that experienced team, the same core of group players are coming back. So for you, you've had not so much turnaround in now your 3rd total season with Central Michigan. So how does that affect you going into this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to have experience in the ACHA. I believe that's one of the key factors to starting to build a good program around here. And it's a testament to the guys that have come back to show that they're committed to this team. They're committed to trying to get this thing turned around. So, nevertheless, having experience, it's something that, any coach would want to have, especially in this league in the MCHC. So, I'm excited definitely to see what these guys have to do this year and kind of see the product that they're going to get out of it.
Central Michigan kicks off their 12th season of play in the ACHA with Ferris State at an NCAA arena, which any time at an NCAA arena, it's always a fun environment for the kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's at the end of the day, they're an MCHC West opponent. They play against the top teams in this country just like we do. So this is a really good test for us to start the season out, just to see where we're at. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect. Mistakes are going to happen, but making sure that we make the mistakes that we can come back on and really rebuild off of that moving into the next couple weeks of games. It's going to be a great test for us.
And finally, Coach, what are your keys and goals for the matchup tonight against Ferris State?
Yeah, it's going to be almost like last year, but we're going to play our game. Systems-wise, we have what we call non-negotiables with our team, and the guys have bought into that really well. So you're going to see a different product on the ice this year than what was seen in the last couple of years, just from my coaching perspective. But I'm excited for it. I think getting lots of shots on this goalie and making sure that we play our game, we don't go and play their game. That's really the big key for it tonight.
Coach, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Central Michigan head coach Brennan Martin. Stay with us. More after this. Finish up the pregame show for you and take you right to puck drop starting lineups and the national anthem on CCHN.
Back with you from Ava Glavin Ice Arena. Devin Serra pinch hitting for Reagan Cleaves tonight. Hope he's doing well recovering. Alongside Parker Morrison. If you struggled to hear our audio earlier, we apologize for that mixing. It's night one. Be a little patient with us, trying to get the kinks in our system worked out, if you would. All right, Parker, some of the things that Michael talked about with Brennan were interesting there. He talks about the returning guys, right? Nathan Bottles, Isaac Gibbs, a huge return addition. We'll get to him in a moment, but I thought the most interesting part of that was talking about believing that experience matters in building a program. You have to wonder if that's part of the marquee and how he's going to set this up for the future, especially with some of the additions they have coming, hopefully next year.
Well, Devin, when we look at a lot of the players that have returned, they were big leaders on the ice for the Chippewas last year. And I think that's a big part of Martin's plan to, kind of corral this team with the new people as well, is kind of mentor them into a position where eventually they can take over and be in that leadership position. But when you have veteran presence on the ice, it creates a whole new dynamic for a team. And I think that's a big factor in Marty's plan.
And, he's talking a lot about Owen Campbell as well. The second captain on this Chippewa team. We've seen CMU go with 2 captains before, right? And for him, that was being a leading scorer last year, 25 points in the year, 12 goals, 13 assists. That's an important mark to name somebody like that, a captain who's really stepped up into a top 3 forward in this program for the last 3 years. Well-deserved in that mark. And one more thing that's notable, he talked about these non-negotiables within his system, and he said to expect to see a different product on the ice than years before. That's something to watch out for in this, because you got to understand that both these teams have to find their identity in this first game. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, no, 100%, Devin, and that's a big thing that Ferris State is probably going to struggle with here. But for Central Michigan, at least, like you said, you look at people like Owen Campbell, who is going to be the second captain of this Chippewa team. 25 games played, 12 goals, 13 assists. He's not only a leader in general, but he's a leader in the point category as well.
Yeah, and talking about this series some more, the last time these two teams played, Central Michigan got the sweep to start. Chippewas went to win on 3 more games for the rest of the semester, but eventually it kind of bowed out. They stalled out that mid part where they had to take on Florida Gulf Coast, Grand Valley State, Michigan State. But this season opener is a good test for them, and they've always been able to succeed in an environment like Aviglaven, some good ice, and you have to think that some guys that are going to be impactful in this will be those alternate captains.
100%. You're going to be looking at Owen Campbell, like I just said, 25 games played, 12 goals, 13 assists, 25 points in total. Caleb Woolery, the sophomore goalie that's going to be starting for the Chippewas tonight, didn't get a whole lot of ice time in the beginning of the year last year, but he definitely got his time during the second half of the Chippewas season, and he really showed himself in those last 5 games, being able to lead the Chippewas to a lot of those wins.
I think it's an interesting point to have Caleb Woolery with now assistant coach Thomas Rofi, the all-time winningest goaltender in CMU D3 history, coming over. So we want to watch there. On this other side of this thing, we talked a lot about CMU. Ferris State has added 8 new players this year, but they really rely on some of those vets. What do you look at in them, Parker?
Well, a lot of the players that are returning are going to be a very impactful player for Ferris State. Looking at Trevor Van Vliet for the Bulldogs, 16, 20, and 36 last year for him, and he's one of the biggest leaders on the ice the past few years for Ferris State. I'm going to move now to Ian Gaffney, who's 19, 9, and 28 in total, and he's been the big Minuteman for the Club Dogs. 6 2-goal games last season and 1 goal in last year's matchup against the Chippewas. Looking for him to produce for the Bulldogs again this year.
He's one of their best forwards on the ice. He wears number 6. All right, time to get to your keys to the game, presented by Optimex Sports. Parker, Central needed to have some spark in these early goings. What do they need to do to create that?
Well, the biggest thing that I'm looking at right now, Devin, is that they got to have pressure on net. They got to put pucks on net, and they only have one goalie, one backup goalie, and that goalie is a sophomore. And you look at who's going to be on the bench for them. They don't have that veteran presence and a goaltending coach like Central Michigan does, so they're not going to have that experience behind the boards, and that's where CMU takes on Ferris State in a much more tactical approach. But they need to have pressure on net. They need to absolutely pepper the goaltender, get his fatigue just up and at him, because once you get a little bit of an opening, the Chippewas are going to capitalize, and they did that all last year.
Fatigue is an important note you mentioned. Game number 1 is usually the most difficult because you come off an off season, or maybe you haven't experienced a full game like this one. I'll just have to be something else, and you got one more for us.
Oh, absolutely. Devin, the second thing is going to be the forecheck for the Chippewas. That's something that they struggled with a little bit last year, but like we mentioned in the pregame show with Coach Brendan Martin, there's going to be some non-negotiables for this team, and we expect to see a new play style. So that's, I think, what's going to be part of that new play style is a very strong forecheck for the Chippewas, and that's really going to help them if they want to succeed in a victory today.
Well said. Well, folks, looks like we are getting ready for puck drop. You know, every time we come to this arena again, great environment, right? Warren Barn, NCAA, but I think my favorite place about this has to be the sound. Everything just collapses in. You hear all the clings, pings, rings off the ice. We're going to have a limited on-ice microphone capability today, but I guarantee you this, you're going to love hearing the sounds out of this arena regardless of what we have or not. But what you're really going to like is these two right here. Central in their 12th season taking on an old rival out of the MCHC West. It's game number 1 of season 12 for Central Michigan, and it's coming up right here on CCHN. Puck drop is in 6.5 minutes.
Welcome back to CCHN, Big Rapids, Michigan, inside Ava Glaben Ice Arena. The season opener for the Central Michigan Chippewas as they take on the Ferris State Bulldogs. Let's get to our starting goaltenders, starting with the Ferris State Bulldogs. Expecting to see Lucas Dandurand in net today, but your netminder for the Bulldogs is going to be Scott York, the sophomore out of Flint, Michigan. For your CMU Chippewas, Caleb Woolery.
Thank you, Parker. Starting lineups for the visiting team, Central Michigan. They're going to start out with Andrew Siraki, Connor Morgan, along with Josh Gilgren and Christopher Martin. Notably, Owen Campbell, he usually wears number 6. He is wearing number 31 today. For Ferris State, they'll go with the defensive pairings, Jack Gilray and Colton Cundiff, one of the alternate captains. Ian Gaffney, one of their leading minute getters. Brendan Karn and Chase Adams, number 15. It's waited 7 months to say these words. Puck drop is underway for Central Michigan in their 12th season. First touch comes quickly. Central trying to get the engine started with Connor Morgan and Owen Campbell. Owen Campbell, the newly named second captain, with Christopher Martin. First shot of the game on Scott York is saved by the glove, causes a whistle, and we're going to talk a lot about these pairings, Parker. You've got 2 captains on the ice together, and Christopher Martin back there with Josh Gilgren, who moves back to that defensive position, which is his true playing position.
Well, we're going to see a lot of what happens with him.
Gilgren, notably a transfer from Purdue Northwest, played 2 seasons there, transferred to Central Michigan last year and hoped to make a bigger impact than he did. Of course, they were a little bit handicapped with roster changes throughout that part, so caused him to miss some playing time. So, Ferris State trying to fend to their own end. Owen Campbell wants to squirt that puck free. He'll slide it to an open area where they make changes. Brandon Clements comes on the ice, the junior, kept it at the point, wants to redirect one under the legs of Campbell, put himself in a good position. More changes going on. Quickly onto the ice, Jake Bishop takes a check down from Jake Adams. And rather, that's Gaffney, and they're getting into it behind the play. Hooked the head of Gaffney was Bishop, and right in front of the official let him play. So possibly a tone center. First minute already. We're from Ava Glaben Ice Arena. Devin Serra pinch hitting for Reagan Cleves today, alongside Parker Morrison. Game number 1 of this campaign. Central Michigan last year, 11-13, 2-1. First time missing nationals in looks like over half a decade. Ferris State, one-timer, never got to the goaltender starting today. And Woolery, some nice new pads, by the way, the sophomore netminder's wearing. Ferris State, a trio collides. That's Bishop and Bottles getting into it with the forward Bigler behind the play. Back into the CMU zone as they make more changes. Out of their own trapezoid, Clements gets some help right there with Woolery on the near side. Wants to flip it up ice. Here's Isaac Hopp trying to find a burst of speed. He's got Julian Johnson coming with him, and an easy glove save for Scott York. And be on the lookout for Julian Johnson as well. He also switched numbers this year. Going to be listed as 93, but this game he's wearing his old number 37.
Well, Reagan, we saw Scott York almost want to play that puck a bit and then ended up gloving it out, and he's only a sophomore, so he might make those simple mistakes later in the game, so that is a big thing to watch as we head back to a face-off.
Yeah, and this first game really is always a filling out process. You see that in the first 10 minutes, both sides trying to figure out what line combinations are going to work, how they're feeling. Well, line combinations are set, but it's really about getting that cohesion going that you worked on all offseason. So here's Lucas Hutton, the talented sophomore defenseman from Novi. Wants to flip one on his near side, turn the puck over, however. Jace Johnson, the leading scorer in MHSA high school hockey 2 seasons ago. Made his debut in the second half of last year, and boy, was he fun to watch. Isaac Gibbs, the return of this team, he's going to be a story we'll talk about. Gets double-teamed in his own corner. Help coming with Hutton, who gets barreled over by the shoulder check of Joey DeMitchell. Now back to retrieve it. Wearing Rapoon's number tonight is Maddox Grimes, a freshman. Gibbs will kick it to himself. Almost 3 minutes gone in this opening tally. No score still. Both teams still have yet to get a really high-quality scoring chance on. And that dump in allows both teams to make their sets of changes. Quickly turned over. Ryan Grollo trying to find an open lane. He caused an offside.
Didn't see Johnson over there in the bottom right corner, and that'll cause an offside.
So let's talk about Isaac Gibbs here, a talented senior from Novi, Michigan, and Gibbs has been in and out of this team for some time. Last year, missed the entire second half of the season. The year before that, missed some time in the first half. And now he's finally back to a spot in this roster Brendan Martin has talked about where he feels like he's the best version of himself. You had the chance to catch up with him earlier, Parker. He says this looks like a team that has a lot of excitement with a lot of those vets that return, as this one is caught in the opposite end. We got a cost call coming up. It's for cross-checking. It's on Ferris State's defenseman over there, unlisted on our roster, number 28. We'll get that player in a moment, but first power play of the game coming up for Central Michigan. In this group, I almost called you Reagan. Parker, 20% from last year, 22 for 110. This group had a tough time scoring. That was part of their identity of all of last year, but they had a lot better go of it in the later half of the season. So they win this opening draw on the faceoff. Back in the shot, Martin sailed it over the top crossbar. Had an open look, skirted through a little bit of traffic up that far side, trying to get the unit working. It's those captains, a captain to a captain. And Campbell to Martin, now over to Gibbs, patiently waiting. Campbell's got a look, great save. Scott York left to right.
It was a very good save by Scott coming out of his crease.
Martin keeps it in over, takes one on net, looking for the redirect. They got blocked off the shin pad of a Bulldog in front. That was Andrew Peel. Oh man, taken down in the corner and hurt. Losing the stick, that's Owen Campbell. He wanted a call on that red, that's Connor Morgan, and he's not gonna get one, so 1:17 to go in this power play. It's 4 minutes out of this first opening night game. Here's Isaac Gibbs. Takes it alone through center. Evades the defenseman Chase Adams. Now will find a lane. Takes one on net. Puck's up for grabs. York finally sits on it as a streaking Connor Morgan and Andrew Siraki were barreling down on him.
Well, Gibbs was actually looking for a slashing call there over in the bottom left corner. Didn't get one to go. Kind of just chucked it in on net to see what would happen. And it actually ended up hitting York's pad. Bounced up a bit. Almost caused him a little bit of trouble there. So we'll go back to a face-off. Won by the Ferris State Bulldogs.
And thank you for correcting me. That was actually a slashing penalty earlier, not a cross-check. So, Josh Gilgren at the point, trying to slide it low. Bottles. One touches it to Isaac Hopp on that near side. He's got help coming. Floating in the air, trying to find a lane is Jace Johnson. Talented sophomore, waits for time. 39 to go in the power play. Camara takes one on net. Blocker saved by York. Kicked out to the far side. A battle for it. Hopp looking for a way to turn this one around. We'll flutter it through the middle. Nathan Bottles couldn't get to it, and it's cleared the length by Joey DeMitchell. So they will make fresh changes. 20 seconds left. Central, one last rush in their opening man advantage.
Trying to set something up here is the Chippewas. We'll see if they can make this line a winning line.
Second power play group back out here. Nathan Bottles now wants to circle the trap this way. He gets decked to the boards. It reaches all the way to Camara, but it's out. So 0 for 1 goes CMU. Back to 5-on-5 with nearly 5 gone in the first period. Scoreless, Devin Sarah, Park Morrison with you. Opening night, always great to come from Avon Ice Arena. This NCAA barn dumped into the zone quickly now. Ryan Grolo with help coming from his forward. Armentrout from the point, takes one, redirect from Andrew Miller, and York, they gave him the early whistle.
And that's another thing that we talked about earlier, Devin, was Scott York making those few mistakes coming out of his crease. He was pretty far out there, and if one wrong bounce went in Chippewas' favor, that could have been a very easy goal for them to score. He's got to watch coming out of that crease a little more.
The early going, we're seeing a lot of redirected pucks, but York stood tall on most of them. Here come the Bulldogs the other way. First save by Woolery of this game. A good stop from the streaking forward end. That was Trevor Van Vliet. We'll say his name a lot today. He's one of the seniors on this Bulldog team. And, you know, as this one is iced by Ferris State, a good mix of seniors and juniors on this team. They really have developed themselves over time. You look at guys like Ben Novak, number 27, Trevor Van Vliet. Their captain, Brendan Karn, has been one of their leading scorers for a mighty time in this program. We're talking about a Ferris State team head coached by Nolan Smith. His first year, they've had a lot of turnover. Here's CMU, back in the offensive zone. Redirect over the net. Connor Morgan nearly had the first of the year. He always plays great in this opening game. A couple of years ago, 2 years in his debut, he had an assist. Scrappy in the corners. There with Andrew Siraki. They scrapped this one out, trying to get it in front. Siraki just missed it on his backhand. Now evading pressure. Joey DeMitchell wants to redirect traffic for Garrett Vanderlong. Defenseman coughs it up. Owen Campbell nearly got to the middle. Now he'll get it back. Toe drags. Wait, shoots over the net. Missed it high. Gilgren from a sharp angle. Off the skate blade. Blocked by Ryan Bigler. The wraparound try. Connor Morgan looking for something. Puck still loose. And now York gets it kicked in front. And a little pushing, a little shoving here. Now worse for wear.
Now, I think the physicality after that one might ramp up a little bit. There were a few pokes on York that the Bulldogs definitely didn't like. And, you know, we see that in the past where the Chippewas get a few pokes off, and whoever they're playing is never going to like that. So we'll see if that physicality ramps up a little bit for both teams.
Still very early, but you wonder how officials in this game will set the tone for these teams. It's not exactly too much of a rivalry if you look at the past history. Central's won 4 of the last 5 games dating back to 2020. The last time Ferris won was a 4-3 victory back on October 16, 22! Oh, Nathan Bottles through the 5-hole at York, and I believe it went off his skate blade and kicked past the right post. Now trying to set up for the one-timer, Jake Bishop lost sight of the puck. Nice setup by Bottles, who decks a man. Central keeping the engine revving, early going here, trying to get on the board first. Bishop loses an edge, finds a lane. Julian Johnson winds up. It's loose and score! Jake Bishop owns the first goal of this 24 campaign. 1-0 CMU.
The junior out of Jackson, Michigan gets it done for the Chippewas. And like I said, Devin, we saw that physicality ramp up almost immediately as Bottles tries to get one on the top right, doesn't get it to go, and immediately decks his man into the board, causing a little kerfuffle on the bottom of the circle. Jake Bishop gets the tail end of that, puts it in and around the goaltender for Bulldogs Scott York. So we'll head back to a face-off and continue play.
And that's got to feel good for Bishop. You know, he was in and out of the lineup a couple of times last year with so much depth that Central team had last year with the Division II guys transferring over. All those guys are gone. He's going to get a lot more playing time now. Ferris State trying to get the rush the other way. Blocked in front by Clements, and the net is off its moorings as a Bulldog crashed into his own goaltender, and Isaac Hopp's giving him a little face wash.
Well, Clements almost picture perfect defense on that play. A little check sweep for him, and that stops the puck going into the back of the net for the Chippewas. But the Bulldogs crash into Woolery. His helmet's off. That was quite the hit on the Bulldogs.
You saw Ferris State trying to capitalize on a rush on the far side. Now, they had even numbers, Central's defense, but scary collision as trying to protect Woolery was Hop a little bit, and I don't blame him for being frustrated on that. Nonetheless, he's all good. Sophomore is a tough kid. We had a chance to talk to him a lot last year, and I'll have to catch up with him in this intermission about those paths because they are beauties. Got to know where he got them detailed. So Ferris State, their first face-off win of this hockey game. We're already 8 minutes in. Skating with it, here's Bigler. Up to the point, tried to slide it for DeMarty, and he lost sight of it for a moment. They'll keep the cycle going. This one wraps around the far corner. Isaac Gibbs hits his own man, and Jace Johnson still be able to flutter this out to the neutral zone. It's iced past the red line, and that one will cause it back to the Ferris State zone. That was Joey DeMitchell. And, you know, Ferris State, still a feeling out process for them too, but, I mean, Central really has made the puck possession known for them, trying to get their system going, and you saw that with their power play opportunity. Although they didn't score, you got to think that led to them having more confidence with all those redirections.
Well, it seems that the second the Chippewas passed the blue line, they just hem them in their own or a defensive zone, and that's what they're going to keep trying to do with that physicality boost up.
Yeah, Jake Bishop with a scrappy goal. Officially on my clock at 7:25. So we got to stop it to play. Penalty coming up here. It is a trip.
There were a few men scuffled up against the boards on the right side of the arena there, and that's going to send number 88, Ryan Grolu, the sophomore from Grand Blanc, to the box for the Chippewas. That's going to put Ferris on the power play for the first time tonight, so we'll see if they can best the Chippewas on that standpoint.
If there was ever a strength from dating back to last year for this Central team, it was their penalty kill, especially at the end of the year. 78.6% on the year, 107 to 136. And those are really good numbers considering the talent they faced. Remember that Michigan game at home last year, they kept the Wolverines 0 for 5, nearly 0 for 6. But Ferris State trying to change that, an open look, and missing the net just barely on that near side was Trevor Van Vliet. It's hemmed in the zone. Good keeping by Colton Cundiff. They'll keep it going. Van Vliet catches up to it now. Morgan, junkyard dog, tries to catch up to him at the point. Couldn't handle the line was Bigler. He's got a host of pressure coming from Owen Campbell, one of the Chippewas' best killers from last year. They keep it onside. Flipped into the air, off the high stanchion glass, and keeps in play. Van Vliet sets up the one-time and redirect score! Bigler on the point shot by Cundiff, redirects past Woolery, and Ferris State capitalizes on their first power play.
And we don't see Trevor Van Vliet miss often. So after they recollected themselves, a nice little toe drag from the Bulldogs, sends it around the back of Woolery, straight back up to the point. Little wrister, redirect, and Bigler is gonna put that one home and tie it up 1-1.
That goal at the 9:03 mark of this first, and what a redirect. Sort of similar, we talked about the Chippewa style, look out, turnover in front. We got a battle with Brandon Clements. That one just skirted to the near side where it's collected out. Good play by Bottles. Now here's Jake Bishop looking for another! That went off the goal post. Hit the right post. Bishop nearly two in the opening frame. Brandon Clements now has to recollect. They'll flutter it through the neutral zone. Bottles will just tip this one to keep it from the icing. Force Ferris State to recoup in their own ends. And some great pressure. Ferris State out of sync. They cough it up again. Bishop with help coming from Julian Johnson behind. And now a Bulldog gets to it first on this near side. Out of his own zone, it's Colton King. Finds a lane. Defended well by Hutton. Put one out in front. Too far away from Ian Gaffney. And Central will get their numbers back the other way. They'll change on the ice. Julian Johnson goes in alone. In comes one of those forwards, freshman Maddox Grimes. And it's off the stick of Woolery, up and out of play. And they left the number on the scoreboard for the power play, but it is over. 1-for-1 goes Ferris State on that Ryan Grolo trip earlier.
Well, we're going to see Hutton go off to the bench here, but he was having a little bit of a back-and-forth battle with a few Bulldogs on the way. Pinned one up against the boards just before this face-off. Had a little back-and-forth scrap, and we'll see that physicality continue to ramp up for the Chippewas.
Yeah, and Central's always been a team that is not afraid to get into it after plays and defend their guys. Here's Colton King. Had a shot blocked off the shin of Isaac Gibbs. Defending it well. Gets around a man, losing the stick for Ferris State. Gainer Vanderland. Another try by Isaac Hopp. And good saves by York. Isaac Gibbs with a nice chance in the slot, but that one's ultimately seen and put in the chest protector of York.
Yeah, he's getting peppered over there in the offensive zone. 3 straight saves for him. One off his pad, one off his glove, and one straight to the logo for him. And he's playing pretty well for his first matchup this season.
Yeah, certainly. And Brendan Martin's crew has put on the heat, and already the 10 minutes, we're kind of starting to see the development of what they're trying to do. Pinning guys, pressure, trying to cause turnovers. They're doing a good job of it right now. Here's Bigler trying to redeem himself again in the attacking zone. Lost sight of the puck. Captain Christopher Martin carries it. Defenseman Gilgren goes off for a change. He'll go in alone. Backhand roofed it past the near post. Right at the short side, he was trying to stuff it Patrick Kane style, and he missed. DeMitchell, the neutral zone. Gives it back to Martin. We'll just play tag with Hop. The one touches it to Gibbs. Stays on side. Help coming with Jace Johnson. He wants to tee up a shot. Blocked in front by Colton Cundiff. Now the cycle continues. Johnson looking to go in front there for Andrew Miller. A nice defensive stand there by Jack Gilreath. Still loose. This near post now. Gibbs. One time. Soft shot seen by York on the stick. And look at Central hemming them in the zone. They've been in here for almost a minute now. Ferris State behind their own goal. Bigler waits for help coming. Soft pass to DeMitchell. Forwarded on for Van Vliet streaking in. He gets past the defenseman. Goes hard to the net. Score! A senior. Nifty moves to get to the front. And Ferris State has taken the advantage 2-1.
Well, you saw Brendan Carr, number 21, ran down the left side of the arena here, Brendan Clements missed his check on him, got past the defense, does a little nifty move, left then right, and then bottom of the net, puts it home, and they'll lead 2-1.
Van Vliet was one of the leading scorers for this Bulldog team over his career. And a lot of times with the turnover in their staff with Nolan Smith at the helm, you need somebody like that to be your presence, and certainly was that there. And let's not underestimate what Ferris State is capable of, because at the end of the year last year, although their record said 8-19, 2-0, and they went on a long losing streak in the middle of the year, they beat a #1 Grand Valley team who was at the top of the standings for 10 straight weeks, even in the 5-on-5, in here, this barn, on their senior night. So what does that say about Van Vliet and his group? Well, they're an experienced bunch now that has confidence on a big stage like that, and certainly coming out here with a 2-1 advantage is no worse for wear. Central trying to answer. Andrew Miller, rather Connor Morgan, takes a backhand try. York skirted it wide. Now a try comes with Andrew Siraki. Wanted to redirect that puck, and Ferris State gathers numbers the other way. Over the line, Chase Adams missed the pass intended for Karn, their captain. Siraki helped coming with Morgan down the lane. They might be a little fatigued. Soft shot by Siraki up in the paddle of York. And a stoppage of play as it hit the netting.
Got a little bit of a fast run there for Siraki. Went down the right side, looked for the slot, nobody home. Tried to put it in himself, and that'll go off the left pad of York.
And although Woolery hasn't been tested too much early in this game, you gotta think to yourself, a one-on-one like that, not too much he can do right there. It was a good placement by Van Vliet under the blocker in between the right pads. So an early start, Ferris State on a redirect goal earlier from Ryan Bigler, followed up by Van Vliet. Central, who's made a real dominance of the puck possession time early in the first, starting to even things out. Look out, puck nearly went to a dangerous angle. Woolery had to be ready for it as Williams put pressure on him. Turned over, Nathan Bottles, help coming with Julian Johnson. Jake Bishop comes in on the ice, off the bench, trying to tee it up. Brothers Jace and Julian Johnson. Julian transferred from Adrian's College Division II team. Jace Johnson, a sophomore. And here he is, talented as he is. Moving it to an open lane. Clements finds one to shoot. In and out of the glove of York. And an early whistle. He didn't have that puck, Parker. I think the referee just gave him a little slack there.
Definitely did. Clements with a beautiful shot. Almost went top cheddar for him. Got the glove saved, but it kind of fizzled out of it. Bounced in his hand a few times, and he's going to get a pretty big break on that one from the refs.
If that whistle's not called, Julian Johnson has an open puck to really gather and shoot at. He wouldn't have had to fight off one defenseman, but, I mean, that's an open 4x8 to shoot at. Probably got those dimensions wrong. I'm a little rusty. Anyway, Devin Serra pinch hitting for Reagan Cleaves today as the fill-in. I did not come out of retirement, but I guess I am right now. Parker, it's good to be back with you, though.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Seeing a lot of friends.
Of course, a little Tom Brady action coming out of retirement.
Yeah, but Tom Brady made his debut the other day in the NFL on Fox booth. This one shot on net. York made the save coming out of his crease. Bulldogs regather the puck. Skate out to the neutral zone. The lead man is their captain, Karn. Tries to get through the defense. He will. Not before the trapezoid, though. Shot on net from the backhand. Saved by Woolery. I'll chase Adams, and Adams shoves a man. Here we go. Dog pile in front of Woolery. Officials getting there to break it up. They're still going at it down low. That's Gibbs taking the back of Gaffney and shoving him through. We'll see how this one gets settled out. We could see coincidentals and two guys sent off, and I think we will. And now Adams is arguing on that one because Gibbs was not happy at how much that Adams was poking at Woolery after he gloved that puck. So they're going to send a pair of players off. They're going to send Kyle Bowers in for CMU, along with Adams, to get a pair of 15s there. And they'll gather the alternate captain, Cundiff, and Brendan Karn on Ferris State side to talk about it. So 5:37 to go in this first period. The only goal for Central in this game is from Jake Bishop on a scrappy one in front, set up by Nathan Bottles.
Well, Devin, speaking of scrappy, what happened during that play was Bulldogs got a shot on net. Woolery, in the midst of his pads, tried to glove it up. Bulldogs tried to poke at it a little more than the Chippewas would have liked. Worst comes to where CMU is going to end up with a big kerfuffle in front of the net.
We'll get you some stats on Central's records when trailing last year. They were not a team that had too many comebacks in them. A lot of times they really made the first period even and then would have trouble later. Here, look out. Flying through Bobby Orr's style is Bigler, looking for his to net. He's got through a pair of defensemen there. Now Owen Campo and Gilgren will look to regroup. So this is 4-on-4 for the next minute and 30 if we hadn't mentioned it already. Van Vliet and Bigler, two of the goal scorers, tee up. They gain possession back. Nice move. Van Vliet tries to get to the forehand. Takes the shot wide of the net. Holy smokes. That was a couple of dandy moves by the senior Van Vliet. He's still on the ice. Bigler now checks the man to the ice. That's Connor Morgan. Open lane to shoot. Woolery doesn't know where the puck is. He made the save. And Christopher Martin gives him some aid. It's a nice blocker save, but nearly had that one up for grabs if a Bulldog streaked in. All of a sudden, they have control of the 4-on-4. Karn sets up Gaffney for the shot. Another good blocker save by Woolery. Behind the trapezoid, trying to get it back up to the top. Karn now puts one on a sharp angle. Missed the 2x4. Up to the point now. Peel with Gaffney coming in to help. Connor Morgan takes out both of them. A nice play by that junior. And he's going to prove why he's an alternate captain and go off. 25 seconds left. And 4 new captaincies this year for Central Michigan. Owen Campbell, main one, a shot opportunity. 3 great stops for Woolery in the last minute. That one he set up with Karn.
Well, Devin, this is looking like a power play for the Bulldogs, and Woolery's standing his own here. Just a lot of miscues from the Chippewas, and we saw a couple where we just handed them the puck straight back, and they had a fast break.
I would say it's more than getting caught flat-footed. You know, when you're coming out of some changes and trying to get your defenseman cycled in, it can cause at times a free puck, and Woolery stood tall that time, not once, twice, 3 times. So 7 seconds left, stays 2-1, 3:44 to go in this first period. 5 seconds until both Bowerson and Adams are out of the box. The Central won that face-off, so Clements tries to go D-to-D with Camara, waiting for Bowerson. They've got 3 defensemen out there as York flipped that one up into the air out of play.
Well, that was CMU's first shot in almost 3 minutes there. Bulldogs had them hemmed in the defensive zone. They're going to try to reverse that play style. Gibbs is going to be the center for your Chippewas, back to a 5-on-5 as they get started again.
It took them a little bit of energy to go, or time to get going with their energy, but you can see they've matched the aggressiveness of CMU. Clements takes one on net. Gibbs was looking for an open puck. York didn't give him it.
And Gibbs, the smart play there not to poke the netminder, because we've seen a lot of physical pressure against both goaltenders for both teams. The second you poke it is the second you get another pair of coincidentals.
Oh, that's more just scrappy play. And Brendan Martin's style the last 2 years has been getting guys in front, traffic, looking for those dirty goals, as you would call them. Ferris State, though, trying to keep the pressure on. Brandon Clements now looks for a lane to hop. He missed it over his stick. Back to retrieve it is Andrew Peel. Waits for help coming. Off the leg of Van Vliet. Keeps the puck in their own zone. Isaac Kopp gets around a man. Puts one in front where Gibbs is intended. Good stick blade move there by Peel. Bulldogs regroup out of the neutral zone. In the attack now. Drop the pass. Shot on net. Up for loose. Woolery lost it for a second again, but once again makes the initial stop. And his defensemen have been helping him out. Clements right there that time. This one's into the Ferris State bench.
CMU almost had a quick rush there and wasn't able to get it off as 2 sticks clap together and goes into the Bulldogs bench, and words being exchanged back and forth from both teams now.
Scrappy on opening night of this 2024-25 ACHA season in Men's Division III. Both these teams missed nationals last year. Central had a good end to the season, winning their final 5 home games. And we'll talk about that and more tomorrow's game, or you can catch that one on CCHN. We presume it will be me and Parker once again, but we hope Reagan Clee's recovery as well. Wishing him the best as he is out with an illness at home, but watching with delight, we hope. 2 minutes to go in this first period. CMU down 2-1. Only goal scorer for them, Jake Bishop. Here's Nathan Bottles, who set him up. Those 2 players are on the ice. Bottles from a sharp angle. Easy save by York with the left pad. poke check came out free to the slot area. Chippewas trying to pounce on it, and they can't just yet. Keep it in the zone, they will. Bottles, the one touch for Bishop, and now it's out. Break for Gaffney. He's got an open lane. One-on-one, backhand. Woolery got across. Hesitated for a moment, but he found it under his pads, and the whistle. Boy, Caleb Woolery, and the later half of this period has come on, and that's got to light up the eyes of assistant coach Thomas Rofe.
Well, now they may be down by 1 goal, but you cannot blame Woolery in any sense there. Both goals came off a pretty fast rush coming from the Bulldogs, and there was another one off Ian Gaffney there. Woolery stood his own.
He has, certainly, and we mentioned the name Thomas Rofe, one of the all-time leading goaltenders in CMU hockey history, was at Nationals every year that he was a Chippewa, and a big part of their run back in the 2022 season. So here's Josh Gilgren with 1:15 to go in this first period, looking for one final spark before we hit the break. Siraki, Gilgren, flipped in the air to York. He's going to easily glove this one and cause a face-off. And for all things we've mentioned about Ferris State, mentioning the tempo, you notice how the face-offs have gotten a lot better throughout this game, and I think that's one area that CMU could for sure improve on, but that more means just getting their engine going and cycling better, because a lot of times last year they had their forecheck stall out in the 5-on-5. So here's Isaac Hopp. That's the dig in this puck. Scrappy player. Johnson frees it up. He'll take it, now drop it for Clements. Forwards it ahead for Gilbs, over his stick. Johnson meets up with it, evades pressure. Wants to find a lane. He'll skate alone now. Bulldogs collapse in on him. Clements, the Chippewas down behind, looking for the redirect. Tipped wide, might have gone off the skate appeal. And Hop gets decked into the boards again, physical again, and a redirect. Jace Johnson, so they are putting the redirections on, and York is ready for him. Let's help his defenseman. 30 seconds to go. This will presumably be the last rush for Central of this period. Isaac Gibbs, the senior out of Novi, through the middle. All alone, tries to go 1-on-5. As help coming with Hop. Clements finds a lane, tees it up, and that one, a whistle is called. And we've got a penalty coming up here for slashing.
Gonna wait to see who that one gets called on.
Inconvenient. And I believe this one is on CMU. It's Isaac Gibbs. Gibbs was behind the play. He was upset with the Bulldogging behind. I didn't see who. And slashed the stick. So that will cause that scoring chance to go unevaded. But York made a great stop on a clap bomb by Brandon Clements. So Bulldogs, they've got 13.4 to make something happen on that Isaac Gibbs penalty. They win the draw. Tipped in the air by Bottles on the shot attempt. Gaffney is ready for it. 5 seconds left. Looking for a lane. Will he take it? 1 second left. They'll shoot on net. And that will be all we wrote. So Central got the opening tally at 7:28 from Bishop, and then the Bulldogs came running. Started out with Ryan Bigler, followed up on the power play by Van Vliet, and that's where we sit. 2-1, Bulldogs lead on opening night here from Aviglaven Ice Arena. We'll be back for more Central Michigan hockey right here in just a few moments.
Welcome back inside Big Rapids, Michigan. Ava Glaben Ice Arena for your matchup between the Central Michigan Chippewas and the Ferris State Bulldogs. Quite the first period we had. Bulldogs lead 2-1 over your Chippewas, and a lot of scrappy play style here in the first. First notable goal coming from Jake Bishop on the Chippewas opened it up for the Central Michigan Chippewas, and very scrappy play. Went around the back of the net, got the tip in, and went around the goaltender, and Scott York, the netminder for the Bulldogs, and he's been playing tremendously this period. Very physical, very agile, and he's been quite the offensive performance for the Chippewas. And Bulldogs coming in with two quick ones right after that. Bigler, number 22 for them, on a redirected shot off the wrister, and it was quite a sight to behold, even on a CMU standpoint. I mean, you can't really blame Woolery whatsoever on that. Redirects are one of the hardest shots to defend. We had a couple goaltenders on last year. Lauren Jones went on the podcast and on air last year for us and told us that redirected shots are just almost impossible for goaltenders to predict and save. So Woolery not to blame for that one, and not to blame for the second one off the stick of Van Vliet either, on a rush for the Bulldogs. Such a tremendous performance from them so far, and they look to continue their dominance on the offensive zone in the second period. Looking for the Chippewas, something they have to fix is that pressure on net. The first 10 minutes were amazing for them. They hemmed the Bulldogs in the O zone and kept the pressure on, put pucks on net, and were absolutely peppering Scott York, and he stood his own. It's been a goaltending battle thus far. Second half of the period, CMU went more on the physical standpoint and just had a few mismatches on the defensive side. Gave up a couple quick ones, and so they look to bounce back in the second. That's going to be it for your intermission report. My name is Parker Morrison. You are watching CCHN. Stay tuned for your second period action.
2-1 is the score from Aveglaven Ice Arena, season opener for Central Michigan and Ferris State. Devin Serra in relief for Reagan Cleaves tonight, alongside Parker Morrison. And gotta say, in my time being now alumni, I'm washed up, so I get to see all of it from the outside. I gotta say, it's awesome to see Parker, Brody to my right here, Ian Drayton, our cameraman. You guys keeping this thing going, because CCHN was and also part of my college experience, and I hope it's your guys too. So thank you all for watching out there as well. Received a lot of love in our finale last year, and fortunate Central couldn't go on to nationals, but hoping to get back in the tournament this year. But got to start with this second period down by 1 and on the penalty kill after an Isaac Gibbs slashing with 13 seconds left in the period, and Parker, so we get a quick whistle, puck hand pass called. So talk to me about sort of that CMU system. It looked like they had a great start to the 10 minutes. You're saying, okay, they're dominating the puck possession time, winning faceoffs. They get the opening goal, and then all of a sudden, Ferris gets super aggressive, and they get 2 goals in less than 3 minutes apart.
Well, Devin, that's exactly what I talked about in the intermission report. It's just the first 10 minutes for CMU looked picture perfect for them with a goal off the stick of Bishop, and then after that, the offensive pressure was gone, the physicality was up, but the defense was in lackluster.
Yeah, and this group coached by Brendan Martin his 3rd season, the pride of them is their defense. That really looks like the strength that they have with the captain, Christopher Martin, back there. Sam Camara has been so reliable for them, and Brandon Clements as well, being a real just good block shotter and taking some more on his own. He's had a couple of chances to score in this one, but Ferris State trying to get back on their attack. They've got 1:10 left in this power play, and so far in net for CMU, Caleb Woolery's looked solid. He had to make a number of one-on-one saves earlier, late in the period of the first. So you look at that, how do you assess Woolery's play so far from just an analytical standpoint?
Well, Woolery's played amazing thus far. Devin, the only ones getting in were on Bigler off a redirected slap or a wrist shot, and then Van Vliet on a quick rush on a one-on-one, and you can't ever blame the goaltender for those, especially on the redirects.
Look out, not at the post, open net, score! On the rebound, Bigler. First shot went off the post, rather the glove of Woolery. Then the rebound shot hit the post, and Bigler was ready. That's his 2nd goal of this game, and his 2nd on the power play. It's 3-1, Ferris State.
Well, he's got 2. He's looking to get that hat trick, Devin. You bet he's going to be putting a lot more shots on net in the 2nd and the 3rd, and honestly, he's played the best for the Bulldogs tonight.
Bigler's strike, that was quick. You saw the initial shot saved by Woolery with the glove, but it kicked out. He's had trouble with that glove side coming in and out. Not getting anything taken away from him. He's made some amazing stops we just talked about, but that one came back to the slot, kicked to the left circle, and then went off the post, and he's going to sit on this one. But then that redirect coming behind the net, Bigler from his feet finds that rush and just stuffs it on a wide open net. There's not much you can do there. You know, this is kind of the hard part is Central's defense at times, even on a penalty kill like that, a little bit flat-footed, and you get more Bulldogs to Chippewas with the puck first.
We're going to be looking at a lot of puck luck there, Devin. It was just a very odd chance for that to ring off the post and go behind Woolery.
Yeah, certainly. So you can knock it up to puck luck, good place, right time, whatever it is. It's 3-1 Bulldogs. And Central's got to find an answer now. They have allowed 2 straight power play goals in this opening season contest. Saraki and Campbell tag up. The newly named captain for the Chippewas, wearing 31 instead of his usual 6 right now. Owen trying to find a lane on goaltender York, and he'll finally sit on this. And we got more shoving in front as Campbell was not happy with the defensive play by Karn in front of the net.
Well,
that's a captain against captain there.
Clement sent a heater in, and that went off the pad of Scott York, and then the rebound came to the Chippewas, kept trying to hem it in, and Scott York is completely out of his crease on the left side, and CMU still trying to poke at it and put it in.
Yeah, Scott York has really shown out in his sophomore debut right now, and Danaran we expected to really be the starter as he was one of those main goalies for Ferris State last year, it seemed, but you know, York has really held his own in this one. You got to wonder if Nolan Smith saw something in practice with him that led to this start. Isaac Gibbs now trying to make something happen. He gets collapsed in by 3 Bulldogs, and they'll get it out to the neutral zone. Skating with it up that left side is Jack Gilreath. He'll just take it alone for now. Looks for an open lane to go. None coming. Central trying to get it out of the slot. Now at the right circle. Defended well. That's Jake Bishop, rather Lucas Hutton getting in there. Slot area chance. Stepped aside by Woolery. The rebound try from the left circle goes wide. And finally a fluttering puck. Jace Johnson corralled, but it's kept in again. That's Bigler with 2 goals today. So Ferris State, you see them with the initial pressure. Then they've got the trailing man, maybe that F2 forward, just ready to scoop that puck back. Get possession. Central. Jace Johnson stays on side as losing an edge was Hutton. Johnson to the net. Initial save. Rebound off the post. It's under York. He'll butterfly it. Up for grabs still. The backhand by Hutton doesn't go. Oh my goodness, a marvelous scoring chance. And somehow York made a number of stops. His paddle blocked the stick. A delayed penalty coming up on Ferris State. Isaac Gibbs winds up and finally he'll glove it with no stick.
Devin,
wow, what a
the
sequence.
Most chaotic scene I've ever seen out of the Chippewas. It was an absolute powder mess.
Well, you get Lucas Hutton and Jace Johnson starting this up left wing, and you could probably see it clear as day. Hutton was ready for that puck. He fell to his knees, and I don't know if it hit the far post or a part of York's lower pads, but it looked like it kicked out right in front, and that's what caused that kerfuffle. And York butterflies out. I mean, miraculous stop there, but it does lead to a CMU power play as the penalty on Joey DiMiccio for what I don't know. Nonetheless, Central 0 for 1 on their man advantages so far. Gets an opportunity to get back within 1. It's Bottles in a battle behind. That's Cundiff trying to pin him up and free. He will momentarily, but Hop gets it with a lane. Up top for Gilgren. Switch from forward to defenseman back. He calls for it. Mishandled the puck on the initial pass. Still loose in the slot. Hop retrieves it. Camara shoots it on net. Open lane. Bottles corrals it under the feet. York scoops it, and there will be a whistle once again.
We can tell Johnson was looking for the slashing call there as he tried to put one home for the Chippewas, and his stick was tagged down by a Bulldog. Didn't get the call, so we'll head back to a face-off. CMU hemming them in the O-zone, and that's exactly what they've been looking to do.
And that time, Ferris really collapsed to the middle of the ice, and they really didn't skate at all. They were kind of just sitting there and allowed Central to go all around the outside. Now here's Owen Campbell again. 1:13 to go in their second power play. Desperately really need an answer after Ferris State has defended well. Opening goal this period by Bigler. He's got 2 power play goals in this game. Gibbs skates around Karn. Will backtrack now. Looking towards the net. Fires on that. And Siraki tried to redirect it. I think Pio got a piece. And it's cleared down the length of the ice towards Woolery. Allows Ferris State to change. Chippewas will keep their top group out. Or I thought they were anyway. Connor Morgan is going to come in. Still have Gibbs and Campbell on the ice. Here's the captain, Martin, his 7th year. Waits for help coming. Puts this one on net. Easy save for York. Allows Connor Morgan to find a lane in the trapezoid. Puts it out front where Owen Campbell couldn't handle the puck. Martin gives it back to him now. He'll go across. Good stick poke check by Van Vliet through the pass. Owen Campbell backdoor ready for Siraki, and he missed the net. York might have collided his stick, and that kept the scoring chance from going. 5 seconds left. This will do it, and that power play unit is over.
Well, an almost chance for Siraki there. Missed the one-timer off the stick of another Chippewa, but here comes another rush from Gibbs.
Gibbs to the middle, through York, doesn't have it, now he does. And nearly getting on net was Andrew Miller for the poke through. And you know, York, we talked a lot about him not being able to handle those first amount of saves, but when the puck has been loose around his blue paint, for the most part, he's been calm and collected. And you see now a goaltender getting in kind of his flow, and that looks like it's his right now.
Well, Devin, the puck spent a lot of time in that blue area already inside the crease for York, and I mean, he's played phenomenally thus far, keeping it out of the net.
Both goaltenders have had their moments, but then again, we're still really early in this one. 14:20 to go, second period, opening night. This has really become an annual contest. Central and Ferris from Aviglaven. Here's a nifty move. Van Vliet looking for his second, and a saving grace by Miller on a wide open far side where Woolery was playing the strong side of the puck, and the weak side, Miller was there to get it out of harm's way. A race for it now. Bowerson the other way. Beats out Gaffney to the puck, so he can't get a stick on it as his team is changing. Ferris State has fresh numbers. Bottles, the transfer from Arcata University, NCAA Division III alumni, will clap this deep into the zone where it's York behind his net. That was just to give CMU time to change. Look out, nearly caught with too many men, and I think they're going to get him. Yep. They're going to get CMU with too many men here, as it looked like off the ice. Just for a moment, Bishop thought about not playing that puck, and the referee saw it the whole way. And so, from what was a dump-in attempt by Bottles to give his team time, bites them, and Ferris State, who's already perfect on this power play, 2 goals, gets another chance.
Julian Johnson will serve that time in the box for the Chippewas, and I mean, Bottles slapped it all the way around Scott York, went back to the blue line for the Chippewas, and they get caught.
And they do, but that's a good initial clear by Brandon Clements. They have to find a way to slow down these Bulldogs that are getting behind the net first, getting to those loose pucks, and really causing chaos, and that's what the last goal by Bigler was from. Just a wide open net on what was Woolery's weak side on a wraparound. I mean, the puck went out of his glove, went off the post, some funky bounces. But good stand right now. 30 seconds already gone. Ferris State regroups. Chase Adams lost it for a moment. And that was Bishop getting in the way. Van Vliet tries to stay on side. Official caught him. Had to come back. Bottles now, and a delayed penalty coming up as a Bulldog is hurt behind the play, clutching his right leg.
And Devin,
that's Colton Cundiff.
Keen to see if this is going to go on the Chippewas for tripping.
And they will get him. It's Brandon Clements. No, rather, I'm sorry. Bishop, you're right. And the Central fans below us aren't happy because they're arguing that Cundiff sold that call as he was clutching his right leg, and right when the whistle was called, he got right back up like nothing happened. But
it was a very interesting
I don't think it was that. We're
being
facetious, but of course.
Well, Devin, I think the call was actually down in this corner over here as a Bulldog went down at the hands of a Chippewa, but
nonetheless, one-on-one lane to go. Backhand got Woolery to sprawl out. Bulldog still collects it behind the net. I couldn't see the shooter. Now Cundiff is there, up top to the point. Defensive work by Morgan, trying to keep 3 of those Bulldogs to one side. Van Vliet makes the move around, gives it to his man Bigler, looking for the hat trick, and Woolery got a piece. To the applause of the CMU faithful. Cundiff couldn't hold the line, and they have to go retreat. The kill group is Gilgren, Morgan, and Chris Martin. Here's Bigler, 2 goals tonight. Drops it off for Van Vliet. 33 seconds until Julian Johnson can come out of the box for that too many men penalty.
Well, CMU playing a picture-perfect 5-on-3 right now is they're going to have to kill it off for another 20 seconds.
That they will. It's deep in their own zone. Camara claps it around, and good job getting around that defenseman. And Guillory, who couldn't catch up to it.
CMU playing a picture-perfect 5-on-3. And that penalty for Johnson is about to expire, and they'll go back to 4-on-5.
But it is that for another 41 seconds. Guillory stays on side. He'll drop the trailer. He's got coming with DeMarty. That's DeMitchell in the corner. Up top, looking for a lane to shoot. Gaffney waits on it. He'll look back, pulls it on trigger. Blocked in front by Clements. Hop got decked to the ice, trying to get it out. He couldn't. 19 seconds now. Here's Guillory. Waits patiently. Bulldog collects it, and that skirted through the blue paint. I'm not sure if Woolery saw it. Ferris State fans want to call on Clements. None coming. 5 seconds until Bishop's out of the box for that tripping call. Central kills the 5-on-3, 5-on-4. We're back to even strength. Not without the Bulldogs with a chance. DeMitchell missed the net wide. Sharp angle, blocked once again. And Bishop looking up and down, waiting for his numbers, trying to see who can I get this to. Hop. Sponges through the check. Gaffney skates through the middle. Try to go 1-on-4. He's just giving team
his team time to make some substitutions, as you might call them, shift changes. Julian Johnson off a skate blade. Body starting to fly now in this one. We are halfway over in this second period. Central needing an answer. They've been close a couple of times, but still 0 for 2 on the power play, but they're keeping Ferris State 2 for 4. And it's one of those things where right now could be the swing they need if they can play more sound defensively in their own zone. Here's Bigler. Has Van Vliet coming. Shot on net. Saved in the pads of Woolery. And no glove it. And some more shoving. And Bigler, Hutton took offense to that, trying to keep him away from that sophomore netminder.
Well, when you come in, you take the shot, Woolery will take that one straight to the chest, and you give the defense a little shove, the entire team's going to wrap around you, and they are not going to let that slide.
Brendan Martin, you've seen him a couple of times talk to that assistant over there, Thomas Rofe, about what I would assume is just defensive coverage, talking about getting a little more aggressive, trying to, as you saw Connor Morgan go against 3 of those guys on one side of the ice. That helps their style because the less time you give Ferris State to set up for guys like Gaffney, Van Vliet, and Bigler, who's got 2 goals, the less likely you're going to allow some sort of weak side chance where Woolery can't get to it. Nearly played to his own bench was the freshman. We haven't said his name too much, Maddox Grimes. First career start as a Chippewa defenseman. Open lane to shoot. Kemp, what a save. Scott York robs Jace Johnson. That was a beauty. A one-timer ready, and it wouldn't go. And now we get a call for
offside.
Sides. Thought for a second hand pass. All right, break that down for us, Parker, because that is an open lane to shoot. And, I mean, Scott York is comfortable now.
Well, looks like Julian Johnson there tried to get a little bit of a wraparound pass to the slot. One-timer didn't get it to go, and Scott York dropped into the butterfly there and played it to perfection. And he'll come out of his crease to get a little football glove out.
Well, that's smart because if you don't glove that puck, you're going to allow that to bounce off the stanchion glass, and I mean, that puck could take a funky bounce. And we will admit, Ferris State fans, at least I will, yeah, I am mixing up Cam York for a second there, but I've got it right. It's Scott. Anyway, he's playing terrific right now. 8:48 to go in this second period. 3-1 Ferris State. Miller holds the line. Adams tried to take him out. Armentrout now in a battle. Puck still loose, up for grabs in the trap. Grolo trying to keep it in. Gilgren, funky bounce up his leg. Force him to retreat. Central keeps Bishop on the ice. The only goal scorer for them. He'll touch it onside. No, he didn't. I thought he got past the red line there to prevent the icing, but yep, they're going to put it out to center ice because he did, and they called the whistle. And Brendan Martin, you got to wonder if he's trying to get that second line going, this looks like, with the likes of Bishop. You've got Ryan Grolo in there, who didn't play a ton of time last year. Chris Armentrout, or rather, excuse me, I think this is the third line. Didn't get a line chart. Shouldn't assume. My bad. But regardless, I mean, this group has looked like one of the more productive ones for CMU, especially getting attacks going and winning faceoffs.
Wonder what they're deciding over here as it's going to be put back in CMU's zone. We'll head back to the faceoff where Ferris wins that one.
Yeah, good job by Dominic Williams to make something of that, but Christopher Martin has it now. Puck deflected to the middle. Bishop fluttered in the air. Bottles gloves it down, gets it back up for Bishop. Looks for a lane to take one, in and out of the glove of Scott York. Kicked out to the half wall. Cundiff in a battle for it. Loose at the right post. Bishop couldn't get to it in time. And now the other way. Quickly is Adams. Help coming with the captain, Kern. Skates wide to the net. Sharp angle wouldn't go. Paddled away by Woolery. An open lane to take one. Another great stop by Woolery. Second time. Third one up in his pads. And he's going to scoop it and cause a face-off.
Well, Devin,
dangerous
not
stuff.
One, not two, but three bounces off of Woolery's pads and the chest. And, well, playing to perfection there in his crease. Didn't even have to come out, and he'll send that one to a face-off, give everyone a chance to rest.
Defensemen for sure were assuming he probably would make that first stop, and he did, but boy, having a tough time making just that initial save. Those rebounds are what kills you. There's Julian Johnson. That's up and in. That's no discredit. This is still game one. We should use a lot of that discretion. You know, if there's coaching points right here, I bet Thomas Rofe and him will eventually talk about that, how you can better put yourself in a position to not allow so many rebounds, because it really is the most simple way that teams in this league score.
Definitely is, Devin, and Woolery has great control on slappers, great control on the pads and dropping into the butterfly, but you're right, that rebound is where he struggles a little bit.
We've had a good number of even strength times. Central in this period killed off a 5-on-3 and 5-on-4. Kind of brought things back even. The only goal was by Ryan Bigler on the power play. That was within the first 3 minutes. Easy save for Woolery this time. And, you know, the reversal we're seeing from that first period was Central getting out to a hot start, right? First 10 minutes really controlling the things. Central, or rather Ferris, gets that power play goal, and all of a sudden they're a rocket ship. Now you've got Van Fleet on the scoring. They take it to Woolery, and without some marvelous one-on-one saves, he keeps it 2-1. Now you get a quick goal to start this second period. All of a sudden that forecheck for Central has really just got, you know, gone cold. Better lack of words of it.
Devin, that was the key to the game, too, is Central's got to have a good forecheck as Chippewas tumble to the ice.
They'll go to look here, 2-on-1. Owen Campbell fanned on the shot attempt, but the backhand they say is, well, I thought it was in. Connor Morgan thought it was in, and it's not. The net came off. Scott York with another save.
Well, Connor Morgan looked like he had the rebound there.
Well, that looked like it went off. Maybe he had the edge of his skate ready. And credit to Campbell for still making that play happen, because he fumbled the puck the initial 2-on-1 chance.
Well, even if it did go off his skate and then it's not going to be a goal, because that would be a kicking motion of the skate. But
I don't know if it was so much of a kick. It was more of they called the whistle because the net crashed into. But
well, that was definitely part of it for sure.
Regardless, Central will push it back deep by Lucas Hutton. Getting some sustained pressure. Kicked into the air by Bowerson. He'll hold at his point post. Campbell coughed it up, 2-on-1 nearly for the Bulldogs. As DeMitchell put that to no one really in sight to the left post. He's trying to get it set up for Peel. He'll flip it in the air. Up for grabs still in the neutral zone. DeMitchell corrals it into himself. Open lane, blocked by Hutton. And Central with Owen Campbell gains the red line and will dump and change. 6 minutes to go in the second. 3-1 Ferris State. The only goal in this period from Ryan Bigler. He's got 2 in Ferris State's opening contest. And we talked a lot in that first about Ferris State's really miraculous end to last year, beating the #1 team in the country, Grand Valley State, knocked them down 2 places. Clap bomb by Gibbs. Great save by York again.
Well, the backhander, tape to tape with Johnson, almost had it in. What a clapper from the post.
He had that one teed up. You know he's hungry in his first start in almost 20-something games. Jace Johnson, the sophomore, with Gibbs on the other side. Drops it for Martin, takes the shot. Deflected by Bobby Lilly. And Hop can't erase Kern's dump. It will go down to the trapezoid and no icing.
Well, Johnson playing so selfless right now. Gets one teed up for Martin, doesn't get it to go.
Oh, man, look out. Gilgren coughed up that puck. They've got to look in front, trying to center it for Gaffney. They'll get it to him nearly, and Gibbs came back on the defensive stand. Now a little toe drag circle move. Spinorama by Gilry. Looks for a lane. He'll go cross ice. Shot off his own man in front. That was DeMitchell. One-on-one scrum. Gilgren trying to recoup himself. Paddled in the air by Woolery, trying to be gloved down by Gilry, and he couldn't do it. A race for it with Jace Johnson and Isaac Hop. Up for grabs, and first man to it was Bigler, but Gibson negated that, and now you get a bouncing puck. This thing's been on edge all night. with the lack of Van Vliet. Nice move, nearly got it past once again like he did in the first. Around a guy, forehand, the backhand, back in front, and Woolery got across that time. Ready for it, 4 minutes to go in the second. And Bigler sets it up for his line partner, Van Vliet, and we got an offside.
Try to get the glove down and didn't get it off in time. So they call off sides on that one. CMU back to a face-off, a point where they've struggled in the second period, only winning 3 or 4.
Yeah, and we credited Central with winning so many face-offs in the first. Well, they are important, and Ferris really has done a better job getting those even in this second. It's led to the reason why they're able to set up their attacks. Partly because of guys like this, Dominic Williams and Trevor Van Vliet. Drops the trailer, one-timer taken by Bigler. Got directed once and blocked twice by Camara. Now it's frayed up through a number of legs, and finally it bounces out off the PA glass bench area, and 3:14 to go. Central just trying to recoup and get an attack going. Bishop and Bottles with York in the paddle in the blue line. Bulldogs the other way. Shot missed wide. First man, Peel, gets to it, gloves it down on the ice. Tries to free it up, gets taken down by Bishop. Lost his edge. Clements tries to sky this to Bottles. It gets through the defenseman who was blocking him and Vanderlaan, but the second man coming back is Adams and gives possession back. And this is another thing where now you're starting to see a similar style of play that was Central last year, where they try and stretch the puck out and wouldn't work too well, but this one will. Bishop, button hooks, waits for help coming off the bench. Camara and his partner Hutton takes the shot on net, wide of the right post. In on the bench from Siraki. Looks for an angle, trying to redirect this. Hit his own man, Bottles. He'll stop. Pressure coming from Bigler. Turnaround shot, well wide off Bottles' stick. Camara keeps the zone. This is a good pressure by CMU, getting the cycle on. Set it up for Julian Johnson, who missed it on one knee. And now it's backhanded out to neutral zone, and Central is going to retreat.
Well, that was their
Ferris State fresh changes.
First good offensive pressure, and Devin, honestly, probably about 3 minutes there, but here we
Siraki
go.
nearly 3-on-1, and Siraki missed Julian Johnson. Now tee it up. Blocker saved by York. Sort of a missed opportunity, but they've got another. Hutton, and that one's deflected off the stick of Van Vliet, up and out. Boy, 3-on-1. I don't know if you can ask for much more there, Parker, and they just miss a simple pass.
Hemming them in the O-zone right now. The Chippewas just peppering Scott York, and he stands strong. You know, for a goaltender who doesn't have much credit to his name on this team thus far, he's proven his own tonight.
Scott York was really not too much of a noticeable factor, you thought, with Danaran over there, but you know, Ferris State looks like they've got two really good goaltenders. This one was a nice one. Woolery with the stop. Second shot from Van Vliet goes wide over the crossbar. And Gilry got roughed up. 3-on-2 for CMU the other way. Campbell to the net. York's got it. No rebound. And 1:08 left in the second. It'll cause another faceoff to the right circle.
Well, Devin, it's not that CMU's playing bad offensively. They've had a couple chances that didn't hit the back of the net as they should have, but they've been peppering the goaltender. They've been putting shots on net. They've been pressuring the O-zone. They've just run into a very hot goaltender in York, and he's played phenomenally.
Absolutely, and you'd love to see them create more of those kinds of chances, right, with more numbers, because one-on-one, I don't know at this point if you're going to beat York just straight on. You have to try and get some chaos and get that puck moving around, cause them to go left to right and vice versa. Under the legs, Gilgren spotted it and gets back to it. He'll evade Colton King. Haven't said his name too much tonight for Ferris State. 53 seconds to go in the period. Out of harm's way, it's offside as Jace Johnson played that puck from Jack Gilry.
Now, Devin, Chippewa fans not happy about that one.
It's clear. It's clear offside, but yeah. Let them play. Indeed, let them play.
It's ACHA D3. I mean,
Hey, it's a really, really good league, man.
oh, it is. It's very, very competitive.
And you see that with, our story, all we talked about with this Ferris State team was that upset win over Grand Valley State last year, and they had a number of other ones we haven't named, but Jace Johnson winds up and misses the net after he had heat coming, and that's another tie where, man, you've got Isaac Gibbs on one wing and Hop the other. You wonder how they might move that puck around. Here's Gibbs, though. Last rush for the Chippewas, 18 seconds. They stay on side. Puts one on net. Kicked out. Hop tried to get to the rebound. Sharp angle try by him again. Clap bomb by Clements. Off the head and shoulder of a defenseman in front of Adams. And he's roughed up from that, feeling it. 6 seconds left until the end of the period. Johnson will get hemmed up the boards. Chippewas won't get to it in time, and that will do it for the period. A big block by Chase Adams, who's arguing something to the ref. He's arguing that he got sort of clubbed slashed by Clements, but he's not going to get a call. And after 40 minutes, it's Ferris State in control for now with a 3-1 advantage, 2 power play goals, both by Ryan Bigler, and the solo one by Trevor Van Vliet. Jake Bishop, the only scorer for CMU. We're going to hit the break. I'll have the intermission report for you coming up on CCHN. You're watching the season opener for Central and Ferris right here on YouTube. Second intermission report brought to you by SeamichIceHockey.com, your one-stop shop for highlights, exclusive interviews, and full game broadcast of CMU Men's D3, Men's D2, newly addition to this year. Great to have John Gervasi on the team this year with the Division II squad and your women's Division II team, who's coming off back-to-back seasons, making nationals, hoping for a third. I'm Devin Sayre with you for this report. I've used the word pinch hitting a lot, but that's really what it is for Reagan Cleaves tonight. Some scores to tell you about out of town for Division III. Not too many games on the slate to start the early part of the year, as we saw a notable one in Kent State and the University of Flint going on, with U of M Flint at our last update leading 1-0 from Crystal Fieldhouse. That game is at the end of the first period. Coming up tonight, some bigger games to talk about is University of Notre Dame against Purdue. Now, why this is notable is Purdue was one of the hottest teams in ACHA Men's Division III last year. They went on a 11-game win streak to finish their season en route to an Indiana College Hockey Conference championship, second one of them in as many years. And Notre Dame is a team that made nationals about 2 years ago, was one of the hottest teams in the country, and then ran into Purdue as a brick wall. And Purdue knocked them out of the national tournament, which is a pool play style, from Marlboro. Purdue this past year bowed out in a tough pool with Florida Gulf Coast, so they wouldn't make it to the semis. But, you know, this game has a lot of implications as far as what we're going to see the ranking period coming up in a few weeks as Purdue looks to go back to nationals for a third straight year. Indiana University taking on Illinois State University. Central Michigan will take on ISU later this year. Shout out to Men's Division II Indiana, who won the national championship last year on a thriller overtime victory from St. Louis, Missouri. Kent State will take on Michigan Flint tomorrow, along with Ferris State and CMU. And be on the lookout for another game that's not necessarily on the weekend slate, but happens this Monday. Nebraska and Nebraska-Omaha. Last year, a Nebraska-Omaha player took a scary hit in a game that was called early due to a Nebraska-Omaha player being emergency pulled out of the game, went to a local hospital and was scanned. We believe by our accounts that player has made a recovery, and seeing the community rally around that was an important story late in the year last year. So those teams will get to take on each other from Baxter Arena Monday, September 16th. Of course, CMU's season kicks off pretty soon with the Women's Division II team. You can catch that on CCHN. They're going to open their slate on September 28th against Eastern Michigan University. Oh, and hey, Men's Division II is now on on CCHN, so you can check John Gervasi all year long for that. And this Division II team, coming off a year where they only won one game, has got a lot of talent on that squad. The likes of Joe Rizzo, Parker Morrison, Brendan Bages. Expect them to make a little bit more noise as what is a tough independent conference team later this year. So, at the recap of this end of 40 minutes, Central down 3-1 to Ferris State. They really have not gotten going on their power play 0 for 2. They have got some great looks on a young goaltender in Scott York, who has stood the test, stopping multiple one-on-one chances. He's been really good, especially on his edges in the close post and on rebounds. He hasn't allowed a whole lot of rebound chances for Central to get to the puck. The most recent chance they had was Jace Johnson along with Lucas Hutton, and it wouldn't go on a one-timer. So you look at the other side, Caleb Woolery is playing really well, considering that they've allowed 2 power play goals in this game. But the better story was that 5-on-3, 5-on-4 kill. Now, you take a too-many-men penalty, a little bit inevasive, and then you take inadversive, as I must say, and then a 5-on-4 tripping call, which you could argue was a little bit exaggerated. But the point is they kill off both of those, and it leads to a little more even 5-on-5 play. So for Chippewas right now, they're staying on the pressure. They're doing a really good job distributing the puck, but they need to stay active in their own defensive zone and prevent getting flat-footed, because they are leaving Caleb Woolery with too many chances for rebounds. It's game number 1. Mistakes are going to happen. We'll see if Brendan Martin, Thomas Rofi can get this group going. And shout out to also Marcus Katzer in his second year, manning some of the video operations for the Central team on the bench. We'll be back in a few moments for the start of the third period on opening night from Aviglaven Ice Arena. 3-1, Ferris State leads. Final frame is queued up from Aviglaven Ice Arena. Central with a 2-goal deficit, looking to crawl their way back. They haven't lost to Ferris State since October of 2022 in their own barn. They have won the last 3 against Ferris State in this barn. And trying to make it a 4th, but need some work to do as Owen Campbell takes this draw with Connor Morgan up this near side. Josh Gilgren with help coming. And this will be the top group to start out for Central. Now, I talked about in the intermission, Parker, Central needing to do a better job in their defensive zone, just getting back to help with Woolery, who's allowed a couple of rebounds. We're doing a good job of that in the first, but it's happened not as much late. A great opening save with this frame with the right pad of Woolery.
Well,
got it across left to right.
I assume that's exactly what you were talking about, is just getting back in time to help Woolery out as down goes Siraki, hits the deck.
An aggressive forecheck pens itself to that. When you have more forwards getting deeper in the yellow zone, it allows numbers back the other way to come alone. But, I mean, this group right now needs to find a way to really just hammer down and get a system going as Siraki, off his stick blade, flips it into the head coach, Nolan Smith. First year for Ferris State, and this is a pretty talented group of coaches. A lot of assistants stuck around. Lance Jose, Shane McKenna, and the team managers Bria Tomasowski and Cassie Kritzman have done a good job recruiting players late in the year. I know in the offseason they were having a tough time finding a coach. Nolan Smith stepped up for them. Great to see for a team that plays in a really tough division. And, you know, we haven't talked about that whole much, but the conference realignment has really been a story this season, as that's a good save by Woolery. Stick was going wide anyway. As behind the play, Joey DeMitchell floated that puck stick about 20 feet in the air. Bishop corrals it, but Saginaw Valley State leaves the MCHC East along with Northwood for Division I, and they form a conference out there with some of the other Michigan teams and the Great Lakes area. So what you see is less teams for the first time, as far as I can remember, in the East than the West. Could make some for interesting stuff come conference tournament time, as you would have the 1 playing the 6, the 2, the 5, and the 3 and the 4.
Well, Clements had a really good opportunity there. Bottles looked like he tried to redirect, and it just ended up hitting his chest. And Bulldogs retain possession, and they'll try to get something started.
Yeah, sort of matching that intensity, right? That's what we talked about a lot of this opening game. Mistakes are expected, but we really aren't sure what the identity of this Central team has brought yet. Brendan Martin talked with Michael Rosenkrantz in our pregame show about trying to establish a new identity and some non-negotiables, probably related to effort, getting to the puck and hustling. Lucas Hutton, look out, he got flat-footed as he was trying to put that puck on net. Now skating back defensively, good work to box his man out. Gives time for Maddox Grimes, wearing number 9 instead of Will Rapoon, to corral it. Central 3-on-2 develops. Jace Johnson with hop, dropped the trailer for him and it went through his legs. And another mistake where they have a good odd man rush down the middle. Lost time for Colton King to regroup.
Devin, it's really that passing percentage right now that is hurting the Chippewas. As they try to go tape to tape, they can't get it to go. They've got a couple good opportunities that just don't end up hitting the back of the net due to a missed pass.
Trying to clean this one up. 16:43 go in this third period. 2 power play goals have been the story for Ferris State from Ryan Bigler. Here's an attempt by Carr, and the captain sailed it high over the net. Woolery might have got a sliver, but you know, this group has been buzzing with that top line. Trevor Van Vliet, Brendan Karn, and that one was Bigler looking for a hat trick. I think I announced that Karn, but Gibbs trying to do something alone the other way, and that is a frustrating mark. Just right now, Ferris State getting more men to the puck, and you don't want to let these guys fly. Here's Van Vliet with an attempt, and Woolery had to sprawl out with the right pad. Now Bigler gets it through. Will skate wide with it. Armin Trout, first man at the half boards. He'll wait for time. Grotlow and Miller help him out. The fourth line for Central getting to it. Chris Martin off. On comes Camara and Clements, fresh defenseman for the Chippewas. Andrew Miller Sets up shop. Drops it off. Clements thought about it. Faked the shot. Redirected it down to Armentrout. And we've got a penalty coming up for elbowing. And it's going to be on CMU. It's Andrew Miller. What I thought it was.
No, it's going to be on the Bulldogs.
Never, ever listen to the play-by.
That's
This is
gonna
why
be-
I have a color.
that's
Clean
gonna
up
be
shop.
Number
Thank
13,
you.
Joey
Thank you.
Mitchell hit him in the corner over there on a Chippewa, and that's why Brandon Clements tried to set up a very nice one-time slap shot. Didn't get it to go as he was going to fake that one, pass it down to the bottom right circle, and didn't end up getting tape to tape on that one. A Bulldog touched it. And
Second penalty of this game for Joey DeMitchell. Central is 0 for 2 on their power plays. But you got to think at this point in the game, this is an important one. Gibbs slides it across for Martin. Takes it on net. York made the initial stop. Got through traffic. First man getting to it is Peel. He got worked over. Campbell toe drag swag trying to get around the man in front in Vanderland. He'll go tape to tape. Gibbs resets at the point. Takes the shot. Morgan looked for the redirect and he gloved it down. Campbell now trying to get around Peel. Leaves it for Morgan. The cycle continues. Holding him to the outside. Morgan skates to the middle. Takes a shot on net. Nice block with the skate of Andrew Peel. Chris Martin at the point. Leaves it. Gibbs in front. Back door looking for Siraki on the weak side. And it never got through. Some great defense by Bulldogs in the slot area.
Well, Devin, this is almost a must score for the Chippewas to try to get some more momentum swinging on their side. They haven't been perfect on the power play whatsoever. Haven't gotten one to go. 0 for 1 so far, and they're trying to get something started.
And they're going to have them a one-on-one. Camara coughed it up. Great defensive play against the captain. And that one was Kern, who was looking to make something of a one-on-one shorthanded rush. Forces Central to ice this puck. And Ferris State can't believe the icing wasn't called. Now it will. Late whistle by the officials. And they might have got confused as to whether that puck was dumped at the blue line or the red line. It was at a CMU zone, so they iced the puck out of their own zone. 35 to go in their third power play.
Devin, starting 0 for 2 on the power play is not somewhere the Chippewas want to be, especially being down by 2. And I know a 2-goal lead is the infamous lead in hockey right now, but the Bulldogs
It's actually 3 goals, but
yeah.
yeah.
3 goals, but I mean, hey.
I had to. Having fun. Hockey is fun. We're having fun. Somewhat. Camara with Gilgren. And look at Gilgren back at defense. And we talked a lot about him in the first period being back to his true form. He was a defenseman at Purdue Northwest Division I, but he had to play more of a forward role as he transitioned to CMU last year. With all those Division II transfers from the side of things, it forced his hand. So 9 seconds to go. Camara's soft shot is on the redirect, saved by York. Dropped it off for Hop. 3 seconds. One last shot attempt, looking for that redirect. And once again, Scott York, as he's been all game long, calm, cool, collected with the rebounds.
Well, Devin, not nearly as many shot attempts as the Chippewas would have liked on that power play opportunity, and didn't really get anything started.
And it really shows. It really shows with kind of the energy level. You see them sort of getting to the middle, looking for those redirects, but they're not the one that's pressing. You kind of see that with a team that has momentum versus when they don't. Central's trying to find it. All it takes is one, though. Armentrout through the blue paint. Couldn't find Grolo. Big step-up hit. Kyle Bowerson lays out Lilly right at center. Ferris State dumps the puck over the blue line. This one will be an icing. What a big collision. We haven't said Kyle Bowerson's name too much. The senior defenseman.
Well, Devin, a little spurt on the bench.
Another one of those Division II transfers, excuse me.
No, maybe that's the energy that they needed to get something going. So after that icing, we're going to look to see that face-off. Hopefully a win for the Chippewas. Maybe get something going. We've seen Clements on the slapper a lot. Deke almost in, and York.
You just called it. I mean, he had to sprawl out from that near side as that face-off trickled in on him. And you're right. Clements has been there at a number of times ready to sort of quarterback the play, but you haven't seen them get it through. Now Ferris State with a rush the other way. Shot on net, saved by Woolery. He'll come way out as he jumping Camara tries to keep him from taking that puck away. The shot came from Bigler, who's had a big day. A number of scoring chances. He's been everywhere, flying on the ice.
Such a great play from Woolery, coming out to the top of his crease, making sure he looked big to the offender, and it worked for him. Hit the center of his chest, and he'll come out of his crease far to glove it.
That's sort of dangerous. If him and Camara collide right there, you wonder if that puck gets loose. Now look out, coughed up Colton King can't handle a fluttering puck in the air. Owen Campbell with speed. We'll get around one man. Here he goes, the newly named captain with Chris Martin this year. Solo effort, got worked over and sent dumped to the end boards. Colton King makes a nice move around Siraki. Drops the pass. Van Vliet calling for it. Lost his stick from Clements. Clements missed Siraki as he stepped into his man. King there with Camara. Still not out of the zone. Gave it right to a Bulldog at the line. Williams leaves it for Van Vliet. Fell to a knee. Defended well by Camara. Pushed to the end boards. Trying to put it out in front. Camara once again first to that. Bouncing puck. And this puck's been on edge a lot, but when Ferris State has touched it, they look like they've been getting systematically set up from the end boards in. So nearly halfway gone in this third period. Ferris State is controlling in this opening contest of the 24-25 season. They're going to ice this one, so to come back to their own zone as they were making changes.
FAMU just not playing with nearly enough physicality, not nearly enough momentum on their side. You can see Scott York literally leaning on his goalpost as almost to taunt the Chippewas.
Well, I don't even know if it was the taunt. You're kind of just reading body language from Ferris, which is exuding confidence. And we've got some conversation as King. They're saying too many men for Ferris State, and that's true. Called out by Gilgren, so now they'll drop the puck. Bottles, turnaround shot, in and out of the glove of Scott York. Almost went through his glove to the corner right post. A tee up by Gilgren at the line, skies over the crossbar.
That one hit the top of the goalpost, almost funneled back in, and little puck luck going in Ferris' State way.
Yeah, and it's been that way for most of this game, albeit they have been creating those opportunities for themselves. Here's Joey DeMitchell, skates wide, poke check by Gilgren. Help coming with Van Vliet, he'll take the puck back. Finds an open lane to shoot. One-timer blast by Cundiff, and that one couldn't get through. Nice save by Woolery. One-timer now! That one squirted through his pads and redirected past the left corner. Gilgren, who fanned on what looked like a dump attempt, will now get it out. And Caleb Woolery, we talked a lot about Scott York in this game, and that redirect by Bottles went over the net. Has really stood the test in this one. Having a heck of a game for a sophomore that, you know, the goaltending situation last year was up in the air for the most part. They had Lauren Jones slotting in with a lot of time for Caleb Woolery. And, you know, Woolery really kind of earned that job middle of the year. And he became not just their end-of-the-year goaltender, but their playoff goaltender, and proved himself to be worthy, which was a stout group with Sam Zavelson, now graduated senior. And Zavelson, of course, got the win on senior night for CMU in their final regular season game. So Woolery didn't get the start in that, but a lot of expectations on him this year somewhat to be good, and I think he expects that from himself as well. 10:15 to go in this hockey game. Ferris State still in control of this one. Ian Gaffney and Lucas Hutton get into it. Gaffney is looking like he got really stumbled around. He's going to get back to the bench gingerly, allow Central a chance without numbers, and a skied puck by Jace Johnson. His replacement on the ice with speed. Williams stays onside, fanned on the shot attempt. Hutton takes him out of the play, and Johnson will find some open space and fly. Up right wing. Evades the poke check by Adams. Gets through another defender and Bigler. Help coming, fresh defenseman out there with Clements. Camara, shot on net, redirected, and Hop trying to get that to Bottles. Rather Gibbs, Camara stops and waits for it. Through the legs of Gibbs, still bouncing, and York will sit on it and stop play.
Well, Devin, a big thing that we've seen out of number 37 wearing it now, Julian Johnson, his speed is some of the fastest you'll see on the ice for the Chippewas. Demonstrated there and just didn't get anything to go. He's been playing selfless tonight, a lot of slot passes, but no Chippewas to finish it home.
That's true, and you talked a lot about Ferris State getting the puck luck. What you need for Central is some redirections that go in your favor, and they either haven't gone or Scott York's just been better. Certainly showing that in this one. 9 minutes to go. Clements tries to find room to the slot. Miller can't get that puck underground. It'll come out to the neutral zone where frustrated Clements will dump it back. Corralling this one on his own end is Vanderland. Now a battle ensues for it. King's in there. Help coming with Gaffney. First man with the bodies peel. He's going to work the puck free. Now Grollo takes it away. Sharp angle paddle. Deflected away. York. And Clements. Chippewa fans thought he got tripped by King. No penalty coming. We've stayed 5-on-5 for the last nearly 10 minutes now. Central 0 for 3. Ferris State 2 for 4. Partially tells the story of this game. Skied in the air. The dump and chase they go. To Mitchell. One-on-one with Clements. Finishes the check, but Clements gets it out of harm's way for a fresh set of Bulldogs. Forwarded to Mitchell. Once again, they dump it in. Central now. Grollo replaced by Owen Campbell. Can they get Campbell going in this game? Siraki now, the junior, will go in the wide. Skates thought about the backhand, trying to turn around and wait for numbers. Bulldogs hem him to that corner. Campbell leaves it. Martin thinks about it, takes it. York, easy save with the right pad. Loose at the left circle, another try. York made the blocker stop. Kicked out to the slot and up off the glass, played by Lilly. Out of here, and it's iced.
Devin, I think something that's been happening for the Chippewas is they've had a lot of hesitation. You saw that with Siraki on the rush. He was waiting for numbers, almost decided to go for the backhand, and then gets pinned up against the boards in the corner over there. And that's something that we've seen not only just in the third, but a lot in the second and the first as well, is just hesitating, trying to make maybe the selfless play and pass it to a teammate instead of taking the shot, but sometimes it didn't work out for the Chippewas.
And it's also something that says about the numbers of Ferris's defense. When you take away the eyes, when it looks like no one's there, that's what causes that kind of thing to happen. A quick turnover, and credit to Ferris State for playing that kind of defensive structure, because they are really shutting down what was an uplifted Central Michigan forecheck after they had the opening goal in this one from Jake Bishop. But under 7 minutes to go, they really got to find some mustard here on opening night. They have not lost in this arena in nearly 5 years. Connor Morgan now lost handle of the puck. Taken away, a chance for Bishop, looking for two, and York once again, glove save, corrals it down, and we've got some extras here as Chase Adams held the head of Bishop to the near corner, and Chippewa fans were not happy with that expression by Adams.
Looks like he's going to go off there.
Yeah.
No.
Back to the bench. Took his helmet off premature before the change, but 5-on-5 we stay at. And what does Central look like here? This has been their most productive group. Bottles trying to turn around. He gets taken down. Penalty coming up on Ferris State. Out of the box, out of the crease is Woolery. And a Bulldog will now touch it, and this penalty is going to be called on Nick DeMarty.
Just before Owen Campbell got off the bench there to put the extra attacker on the ice, Bulldogs picked that one up at center ice, and we're going to go to yet again, Devin, another power play for the Chippewas, 0-3. Devin, this is, for the Chippewas, probably a must-have power play if they want to get some momentum swinging on their side. They're down by 2 late here in the third, 6:21 left to go in Big Rapids, and they've got to get something started here if they want a chance in this match.
It goes without saying, but this group from last year really struggled with their power play, 20%. And in this game, they're 0 for 3. Bottles now turnaround, trying to change that number. And Hop couldn't find a lane. Good defensive work by Peel to take his body out. Now Jace Johnson gives it up to Gilgren, and he fumbled that away. Gilgren looked like he got off edge, just off balance, and couldn't find his edge to really collect that puck and keep the play alive. Gets back on side. Saved by York. Kicks out to the far corner. Johnson patiently waits with it. Looks down. Now up. Takes the shot. And York smothers it.
Well, only 2 shots on net so far. 35 seconds into the power play, Devin. Definitely not what the Chippewas are looking for. They're playing a little bit slower than they might have liked. That missed pass, as we talked about earlier, going tape to tape, and those missed passes just causing misdirection for the Chippewas. Not able to get anything started. No momentum swinging if it's not in your zone.
Couple of mistakes have cost them on scoring chances for sure. But still time. 1:18 to go in their 4th power play of this game. Nice defensive play by Andrew Peel. And a little bit of a shove to Siraki in front of the official. Central fans think there should be some whistle on that, but Isaac Gibbs with numbers now. Drops it. Martin has the lane to shoot if he wants it. And it's sticked away in the air, and it will cause a face-off.
Good pressure from the Bulldogs there, causing Martin to hesitate a little bit. Oh, thought about the shot, didn't get it to go, and it'll go off the stick.
And you have to wonder where that might have just been a matter of habit for Martin. I like the idea of trying to redirect. You know, you're trying to balance out. Do you keep the play going? Do you continue the cycle, or do you just take one on net and try to get a bounce in your favor? And he can't hold the line on this one. Has to come out to the neutral zone. Tries to go D to D, and a streaking Brendan Karn, captain, plays the Fox.
That was a pretty dangerous
Fox
pass
and the Hound,
there.
if you would.
Chop the puck down. And
Campbell stays on side with Morgan. Their leading scorer from last year, 12 goals, 13 assists. 18 to go in the power play. Waits for time. Gibbs has it. Looks the other way, turn around, fake the shot. Blocked easily in front, and that will do it. Ferris State, and what's been their period, their second half of this game, puts the Chippewas what looks like on ice. Need 2 with 4:15 to go. Nice moves by Connor Morgan. Across the way, Camara puts one on net. That one right off the right iron. It's in. They score. A funky bounce. Thought it was in and out, but it is Camara's goal, and the Chippewas are within 1. 4:03 to go.
Devin, the shot that rang around the world there. You could hear that one a couple miles down the road here at Evergleben, and what a wrister from the point.
Well, you know what was so crazy about that? That far side official calls that no goal, and then he sort of hesitates and changes it to a goal, pointing down, and that's where the initial call comes from. So it is a goal for Sam Camara, the defenseman junior, a big one needed at a desperation time right now for the Chippewas. They've got 4 minutes to answer once again. Bishop wants to put it down low for Bottles. He has help coming with Julian Johnson, who's been a presence in this one. Well, there's Ryan Bigler in there, who went off his skate. 2 goals for him in this contest. And now for Central, of course, you're going to get super aggressive now. Let's see if they've got some cardiac in them.
Well, they know they're back in it now. The bench standing up. The players ready to go, and the aggression momentum swinging a little bit more towards the Chippewas now. Let's see if they can finish it.
Trying to ride the energy. Bishop wanted to center it up for Julian Johnson. And a nice deflection in front by a Bulldog. I'm going to say Joey DeMitchell was involved in that. I think it was a hand pass. Could be offside. I haven't seen a signal yet. They're going to put this one dead center. Oh, never
Most
mind.
likely an offside there.
Yeah, probably an offside.
Now Joey DeMitchell tried to evade the hit from the Chippewas.
This
Put his
rust
head
bucket isn't
down
always right. Isaac Hopp. Face-off win to Bowerson. And here we go, Parker. Aggressive forecheck. Here's Jace Johnson trying to come in alone. Bulldog lost an edge defending on his side. Gibbs now patiently waits. Across the way, Bowerson puts one on net. Easy save for York, and he's going to cause another face-off. It'll come to the left dots.
Well, Devin, in all honesty, you don't want to get that break and play. You want to ride that momentum as much as you possibly can. You don't want to give Scott York in net any chance to rest whatsoever. You want to keep peppering him this last 3 minutes.
They peppered him right there. Gibbs tried to go top shelf, and the shoulder of York was ready. And what you mean by that really is you don't want to see start and stop, because that gives more time for just the flow to get taken away. More time to tick off the clock. 3 minutes now in this game on opening night. Central, though, has possessed the puck for the majority of the last 4 minutes. And Hop, with that power play, no good. Helps congratulate a goal on Sam Camara. They need another. 2:44 now. Hop turns around. And the right dots. The work from the trapezoid in. And a stoppage of play. The net is off its moorings. Haven't said that too much tonight. You know, I mentioned that because I think about half of our games last year, more than half, were, and the net's off its moorings. About 3 or 4 times every period. So
Well, Devin,
it's nice to see a rink with some sound iron.
CMU is a very physical team. They're constantly crashing the net. So, I mean, if you see a Chippewa in the net, I mean, there's not a lot you can do there. It's kind of expected now.
So Bulldogs work this one out to the neutral zone, dumped in. Chase Adams will chase it. Gilgren is there. Ian Gaffney holds the line just to kill some more time. We'll let you know if it is empty net for Caleb Woolery. Adams goes cross ice for Guillory. He's had a heck of a game as that starting defenseman for the Bulldogs tonight. Now Gilgren forwards it ahead for Morgan. Too strong for him. Taking away the check is Joey DeMitchell. Under 2 minutes now. And Ferris State once again just going to control time. Here's Bigley looking for the hat trick. Put it wide past the right post. But once again, you control this back. Now they're playing keep away. Nolan Smith looking for his first coach as a Ferris State man of the bench. And it's going to be a hand pass. And Central's arguing that it should come out of the zone. Owen Campbell wants it. It will be in front of his own blue line. And he's kind of arguing that maybe it should be on the Ferris State side of the red line. But I don't think they're going to give him this case. They're going to make some changes on the ice. Woolery is still in net to our left. They're going to bring out Isaac Hop, Julian Johnson, Nathan Bottles, the centerman, with Clements and Camara to his backstop. And DeMitchell gets to it. The pursuit. Trying to wrap it around. Now he'll give time in the middle. Here goes Clements through center ice. Off the leg of Bottles. Woolery coming out, talking about coming. Here comes Siraki to the net, trying to get a shot off. And he got taken out of the play through center. Now Woolery has to go back because the Bulldogs have even numbers. DeMitchell taken out by Clements. Gets it to Bigler. And we've got a stoppage of play. What for? And it's going to be a penalty.
On the Bulldogs, slashing is Joey DeMitchell. Third time tonight, Devin, goes off to the box. CMU is going to put themselves back on the power play. No luck in the last 4. Devin, this is a must-have.
Well, it's the game, essentially. 1:07 left.
Ferris
And
calls
so-
a timeout there.
Yeah, smartly, Nolan Smith is going to take a timeout, and you talked about it. A guy that's been all over the plate tonight, Joey DeMitchell, takes his 3rd penalty of this one. So let's break this down for you. Started out Jake Bishop. Central controlled the first 10 minutes, looked like they were the better team in the 5-on-5, and that would be the tone of the game. Then all of a sudden, Ferris gets their first power play attempt and 2 goals within 3 minutes of each other. Started by Ryan Bigler, who's got 2 today on the power play. Trevor Van Vliet made a nice individual effort. We went to the break of the first, 2-1. Then Ferris comes out right away. You think Central's going to get regrouped, take some of the control back, and it's Bigler again. So now you get these lulls. Central kills off some key penalties. Ferris State hasn't had a power play since that early second now. And all of a sudden they've had a number of these man advantages, Central has, and they haven't been able to capitalize on that. Why is that?
Well, Devin, seriously, since the first or the last 5 minutes of this period, CMU's looked like a completely different team. Up starting from that Bigler redirect in the first period that caused them to tie the game up. CMU from there has not looked like themselves. They've been playing sloppy passes. They haven't been right on the puck as much. They have been hesitating much more than they should. But here comes the 5-man team for the Chippewas. 6.
As they pulled Woolery to our left.
Woolery
So
out of
6
the net.
on 4 with 1:07 to go on opening night. Owen Campbell digs in at the right dot against Bigler, who's got 2 tonight, as we mentioned. Gibbs, psycho to the point. Martin looks up to the net, goes across for Camaro, takes a lane to shoot. Puck on the weak side. York made the stop, and a Bulldog got to it. That was Bigler. Now gloved out of the air, trying to clear that puck away. Chippewas have the empty net. That's what he was going for. Camara now takes another shot. This one loose. York's way out of the net. Still in the slot area. Into the air. Bouncing puck. It's going to be a race for it. Empty net to shoot at, and they miss it wide. Bigler looking for the hat trick. But 33 seconds to go. Chippewas got to hustle back. Regroup. Top group will stay out here for the rest of this game. Gibbs. Morgan gets it back now. The alternate captains regroup. 18 to play in the game. Morgan from a tough angle. York made the stop. Kicked wide. Martin couldn't get to that puck. It's clear down the ice. They might have time for one more rush. 7 seconds. What a stopping play made by Chase Adams, and that's going to do it. So Ferris State, for the first time in nearly 5 years, wins their season opener against the Chippewas. Scott York, the hero in this game, as he gets dogpiled by the Bulldogs in his own end. A late chance for the Chippewas, but they ultimately fall scoreless on 5 power play chances. And Ferris State, with the help of Ryan Bigler, Trevor Van Vliet, win this one.
Well, Devin, I think the story tonight is Scott York for the Bulldogs. You couldn't really have played much more of a better game. He stopped them exactly when they needed, killed the momentum of the Chippewas almost every single time, and not much you can do when you run into a really hot goaltender.
That is Ferris State's first win against the Chippewas since October 16th of 2022. Chippewas came into tonight winning 4 of the last 5 in this series. And the Bulldogs, credit to them, with their top guys, get it done on opening night. Post-game show coming up next with analysis from Parker Morrison, and we'll get you ready for tomorrow's slate for Martin Ice Arena. The final score tonight, 3-2. Ferris State wins on their home ice from Avon. We'll be back in just a moment. A season-opening win for Ferris State, their first in over 5 years from their home ice against the Chippewas, and it comes at a crucial time where they kill off 5 Chippewa power plays en route to a 3-2 victory. Devin Serra pinch hitting for Reagan Cleaves tonight alongside Parker Morrison in what was a thriller at the end of this one. A late goal by Sam Camara on a wacky bounce, which we saw a lot of today, results in a sort of comeback, 1-goal deficit, and Central had a power play with 1 minute left. They can't cash in. Ferris State holds on, and the first win for Nolan Smith as head coach of the Bulldogs. Parker, this game looked like in the first minute that it was going to be Central cruising and controlling the pace of play. Jake Bishop gets the first goal of the season for them, but Ferris State just kept coming and coming until their pressure was put on the most.
Well, Devin, it was really all Chippewas for the first 10 minutes of the first period. We had that early goal by Bishop, and it was a beautiful start for the Chippewas. They really controlled the play. They had the Bulldogs hemmed in the D zone, and then directly after Bigler hit that redirected shot, it looked like the Chippewas, as I mentioned throughout the game, completely different team. It looks like they lost all their gas, all their momentum. They started playing a little bit slower. And Devin, the biggest thing that hurt the Chippewas, in my opinion, tonight was the missed passes and the missed opportunities on net.
But you know what we said about earlier, all the wacky bounces. This puck found everything but Mexico today, because I think with as many good redirects as Ferris had, Central had just as many chances on Scott York, who we'll get to in a minute, played probably the best game we've seen of his career. Granted, not too many opportunities, as Dan Durant played the majority of them, but the point is, what an effort for a goaltender that stepped in when Central really found some mustard after gaining momentum on penalty kills. It's ultimately not enough in this one. As we take you through our game recap, we mentioned Jake Bishop had the first goal of the season for CMU, but that was followed up with 2 Ferris State goals in less than 3 minutes by first Ryan Bigler and then Trevor Van Vliet, one of their leading scorers from last year. Frame would end. Second period saw them score in the first 3 minutes. Another power play goal from Ryan Bigler. And we said his name so much tonight as a Ferris State group that looked like they had short numbers. It looked like they were just going to be cycling 3, maybe 2 lines all night. But all they needed was that top line to get top-level production.
Well, Bigler was all over the ice, as we mentioned earlier, Devin. Not only did he have those 2, he was looking for a hattie, and he was peppering Woolery day in and day out. And Woolery held his own for quite some time.
Especially on alone chances.
One-on-one rushes were a consistent factor for the Bulldogs that just kept hemming the Chippewas. That's another thing that really hurt them tonight, and another thing that they can take into film, look at, and probably strategize defense a little better for next time.
Especially with how many chances that Ferris State got on those power plays. They ultimately end up 2 for 4 on the night, as Central killed off that 5-on-3 early in that second period. And the final scoring looked like this, with Sam Camara getting the second goal for the Chippewas. Ryan Bigler before that had another, as we mentioned. So just a little bit too late for Central, but you could see them the final 5 minutes start to get that play back. You know, Brendan Martin told Michael Rosenkrantz in that pregame interview that he needed his team to play their game. They needed to find their identity, find their system. And it looks like they played more of Ferris's game tonight, and that's what led the Bulldogs to be able to pull off what I think many people expected as an upset.
Well, when you go 0 for 5 on the power play and your goalie's doing all he can, but rushes are a consistent factor for him, there's not really a lot you can do as a team. Going 0 for 5 is pretty unheard of for the Chippewas. You know, we don't capitalize, 100% of the time, but 0% is something that this team doesn't see a lot of.
Certainly, and the end of last year was a story with how good their penalty kill was, how even better the power play got, but it stalls out in this one, a 3-2 final from Averly and Ice Arena. Time to get to our 3 stars of the game, presented by Optimex Sports. Scott York gets the first star in this one, followed up by Ryan Bigler, and then you kind of had this one slotted in, and I didn't really agree with it, but why Jake Bishop?
Well, you see, not only is he just an offensive powerhouse, he was playing some great defense too. Had a few very key stick lifts that we saw earlier in the first that prevented the Bulldogs from taking an even stronger lead. And that stronger lead could have left to such a momentum swift. Camara might not
Getting swifty.
Camara might not even have had.
Trying to say that 5 times fast, right?
But Bishop, he's just a powerhouse on the offensive zone and on the D zone. And we really saw that tonight. He may not be the biggest guy out there, but he sure plays like it.
And for one of those Division II transfers that you didn't really see him produce the most on the offensive side last year, was kind of in and out of the lineup as that extra skater. Sometimes you see him on the 4th line. But that third and fourth line, that's something I think Brendan Martin can take away, is how good those third and fourth lines played. Because regardless if it was just to go in there and kill time, keep that puck away, they generated a lot of puck possession time, probably more than the top line did.
Well, there's a lot of depth on that CMU bench, and Brendan Martin realizes that, and he takes that third and that fourth line, and he is continuously building them up. And I think tonight, Devin, was kind of, a checkup on where they are as a team, what lines work good. It's the first game of the season. You don't expect them to play perfect. And so Brendan Martin kind of seeing who fits best with who and seeing what players are going to capitalize when it counts the most.
And that is a good point to make, is that they have another game tomorrow where they can get the redemption story. Most times you see in these kind of series, the team that loses the opener is the more hungry one and comes out with a little more jump. So you got to think Central in the season opener is going to look to show off a little bit.
Well, not only that, but it is at their barn this time, at the Marty. And we've seen that in previous matchups against opponents where CMU will go on the road and lose, not badly, but a game that they might have won on paper, lost in the real world, and then they head home to the Marty and are a completely new team, a completely dominant team, some might say.
Here's the big stat for them. Their last 5 games at home, all wins, dating back to last season against the likes of Michigan, Northwood, and Illinois State. So some momentum to ride there, some stats to hang your head on. Look to get better tomorrow and get the season series, or the opening series, even with the Ferris State Bulldogs, who win this one tonight, 3-2. Final thoughts from you, Parker.
Devin, that 0-5 power play percentage was just a killer for the Chippewas. So we're gonna head out, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow.
I see the bars. We'll say it.
Oh,
well, that's our
we
cue to go. My face is a face for radio, that's for sure. Well, it's back. There you go. Well, thank you for watching this presentation of CMU Hockey right here on CCHN. We'll be back from Martin Ice Arena tomorrow as Central looks to even up this opening series. Thank you for watching, and have a great night. Final score, everybody. Final, Ferris State 3, Central Michigan 2.